Hacemos así.
My peoples. Bam, my peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, my peoples. Y'all know how we do. We're gonna talk boxing. This is what we does. Let me take a seat over here. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's a beautiful morning, even though it's cloudy, might rain. Still a beautiful morning. We woke up, my peoples. If you woke up, it's a beautiful morning no matter what the circumstances are. So salute to everybody tuning in. Young Guns in the building. Out Booger in the building. Toy Mafia. Salute, my brother. Listen, my peoples. We're going to kick this thing off with Jake Paul and Tank Davis. You know, we already seen some of the pressers. We've already seen some of the back and forth. They're saying it's going to be a real fight. They had, one of the guys promoting it, I guess, and he said it is a real fight. They're going to have judges. Someone is going to be announced the winner, whether it's by knockout or it goes the distance. So it's an exhibition fight, but they're adding an element to it to make it competitive. They're adding the judges and the scoring and all that stuff. Now, is that really gonna make it competitive? Because when I hear exhibition, it automatically isn't a real fight to me. So I think they try to offset that point of view of this is not a real fight because it is an exhibition by adding the judges and pointing out that someone is going to be able or it will be announced the winner at the end of the fight. So honestly, man, I have to see it. I have to see it to believe it. Is it really going to be, a real fight where they're going to be trying to hurt each other, trying to knock each other out, and so on and so forth? Because I'll tell you what, I know the size difference is obviously noticeable between Tank Davis and Jake Paul. But I will tell you, man, if they actually fight for real, they're really gonna try to hurt each other. Jake Paul getting beat up. Forget about all the size, the height, the reach, the weight. Forget about all that, my peoples. Skills beats size 9 out of 10 times. Jake Paul is not going to be the exception. When you're talking about, elite level skills versus average, the size is not going to be enough for Jake Paul to make things go his way. Yes, you're big, but the only advantage that Jake Paul is going to have in the ring versus Tank Davis is the physical advantage. That's it. He's not going to have the advantage in speed. He's not going to have the advantage in skills and mechanics and footwork and ring IQ and counterpunching. He's not going to have the advantage in anything outside of his physical presence. That's it. So you're a hard puncher. We've seen Jake Paul knock people out. You just don't have the skills to land those type of punches on Tank Davis. You don't. And you guys, I promise you, you're going to see it. If it turns out that it's going to be a real fight, Jake Paul don't stand a chance. Tank is going to play with him. So I know people want to believe, oh, he's so big, he's going to beat Tank Davis up. Stop. Trust me, it's not going down like that. Young Guns, Tommy Fury, a complete bum, beat Jake Paul. So even though size difference, you got to think skills win. And I'm surprised. This is what sells a fight. This is what makes it interesting, right? There's a lot of people out there who think that Jake Paul's going to win this fight, or who think, Jake Paul, he too big and too strong for Tank. Tank is in trouble. I think I even heard some boxers saying that, which surprised me. Because skills and talent will beat size. Jake Paul his level is way too low for him to be able to compete with Tank Davis. Just measure Jake Paul's skills. If you're measuring from 1 to 10 skills wise, and I'm talking about skills for skills, you would probably rank Tank a 10 in power, a 10 in speed, a 10 in ring IQ, a 8 in defense. You will rank Tank very highly in every category. And then Jake Paul, skills, you probably give him a 5 or 6. Same with the defense, 5 or 6. Footwork, 4. Counter punching, 3. You're gonna give him power, 10. Size, 10. Those are not the things that win fights. It's not. Young Guns, 4-5 for Jake. Damn, you got Jake. That's cap. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, bro. Side, salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in, man. Listen, Jake Paul versus Tank Davis can actually turn into an interesting fight. They can turn into that. Side, Tank versus Jake is going on hybrid pro boxing record. Yeah, hybrid pro, like, to me that doesn't even, like, hybrid pro. What is hybrid pro? I don't even know what that is. But hold on one second. So I think that's crazy. But here's what I'm going to point out, my brother. Look. This the only box rec I recognize. Myself. Me personally. Right? The only box rec I recognize. You see Tank Davis right there. He's 30-0 with 1 draw. And there goes the draw dished out to him by Lamont Roach. That draw, which we all know was a gift to Tank Davis. There you go. That's the guy Tank should have been fighting anyways. Mr. Lamont Roach. So, the stuff about hybrid pro boxing record, bro, I don't even know what that is. I don't even recognize that shit, my guy. I guess that's stuff for people that's doing, B-level boxing stuff. They can convince me that the fight will be competitive, that they will actually compete and try to beat each other in the ring. But putting it in some hybrid pro box or wherever it is, that's not convincing me in anything. It's still an exhibition. Jake Paul and Tank Davis getting in the ring together, that's like me and one of you guys going in the front of my house right there and putting on boxing gloves and going at it. The only difference is we're not famous, nobody gonna pay us. But it's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. No sanctioning bodies recognizing that shit. Oh. But the interesting element, and that's my opinion, of course, the interesting element about this fight is that Tank Davis and Jake Paul may actually end up trading leather for real. Or that's what it appears like it's going to be. Glove size is 14 or 16. Side, 12 ounce, Young Guns. And that's some big ass gloves, by the way. Right? Well, they should have been doing that on 8 ounce. 8 ounce glove. What you mean 12 ounce? You're gonna be wearing a pound, damn near a pound. And a pound, by the way, is 16 ounces. 12 ounce gloves is damn near a pound in each hand, my people. That's what you're wearing. So they trying to cushion it up real nice so they don't hurt each other, so they don't knock each other out. It's a little bit harder for you to do it with them 12 ounces. They slow you down a little bit too. Let's see, my people. Let's see. Honestly, I think it can turn into an interesting fight. Just because, number one, the difference in size. Number two, If Jake Paul's really trying to get him out of there, then we're gonna see Tank, trying to counterpunch, trying to make him miss and make him pay, doing some of the things that he does. And then you want to see, can the smaller guy hurt or even stop the big guy, even if it's an exhibition. Now, if Tank Davis hurt or stop Jake Paul, it's gonna be a firestorm from boxing fans, because it's gonna be those who will give him credit for knocking out the bigger guy, and then it'll be those who be like, man, shut your goofy ass up. That was an exhibition fight. And then we're gonna be wondering if it was even scripted. Like, yo, how much money this person got or this person got to take a dive? That's the thing about an exhibition, man. You never know if it's actually real until it happens. Young Guns, Jay Smith, when you prepare for your pro fight, do you remember if you used 16-ounce glove to spar? Honestly, I don't remember. But I fight at 135. I honestly, I don't think I ever used 16 gloves. I think the biggest glove that I sparred with was 12 ounces. I'm not sure, to be honest. A couple of years ago, I'm an old man. But I think that the biggest gloves I sparred with was 12 ounces. I don't think I sparred with no 16. I mean, look, that's me, right? I think 16 ounces for sparring should be for people that are, fighting like 160 and above. Those are pretty big gloves. 16 ounces, that's a pound, bro. That's a pound in each hand. So, I mean, you could do it. Anybody could do it. I could spar with 16 ounce right now. But I think that's going to take away, my speed, a lot of the things that I'm able to do with gloves that big. I think that, heavyweights, man, cruiserweights, and people up there could be fighting with 16s. Side, 18s for the heavies. Imagine 18 ounces with a pound and change on each hand. So check it, my peoples. I think this fight can be interesting. We're going to find out soon enough. It's already next month. And I guess that's part of the reason why we're going to tune in. Look, did anybody ask Tank Davis to fight Jake Paul? Do you guys remember if that's a fight anybody asked for? We want you to get in the ring with Jake Paul and do an exhibition. Show us what you got. No, I don't think nobody was asking for that. But even with people not asking for that fight, even with the criticism that we're dishing out, because I'm criticizing it, I feel like Tank should have fought Lamont Roach. Even with all that, we're going to tune in. I'm not a hater. I'm not going to sit here and say, like some people do with Terrence Crawford. Oh, that fight don't make no sense. I'm not going to watch it. Nah. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, it doesn't make no sense. It's true. But it is interesting to see. The little guy, the big guy, the exhibition. Are they really going to fight? Is this going to be scripted? Can somebody actually get knocked out? There's a lot of questions that will be answered on that night. Is it going to be fun to watch? Look, I'll tell you right now, if they're going to fight for real, if it's going to be a real fight, I promise you, Jake Paul is going to come out versus Tank Davis the same way Logan Paul came out versus Floyd Mayweather. Remember? He came out of front looking goofy as hell. I'm not saying Jake is going to look as goofy as Logan because he know how to box more. He's been doing it longer. But I think he's going to try to come out and be extra aggressive, especially with Tank Davis being a notorious slow starter. If it's going to be a real fight like they say it is, I can imagine Jake Paul going out, and trying to go all out right away, trying to surprise him. The Monk 636. This man is a G. Hit the like and subscribe, my peoples. I appreciate you, my brother. Bam, you know what we doing. We talking facts out here. Young Guns, we're boxing junkies. I mean, 6:30 in the morning says a lot. While some people trying to figure out what they're going to watch on TV before they go to work. Some people sit eating breakfast quietly. We talking boxing. 5 days a week, starting at 6 in the morning for a couple of hours. So they don't get no more boxing addicts than that. Side, Young Guns, only boxers know what I'm talking about. You wouldn't understand. Young Guns, Jay Smith, did that 3-time national champ and military boxing champ you were supporting win? Oh, he got the second round, was it a first round stoppage? No, he got a second round stoppage. Brutal. Oh, no. He got a first round stoppage. Quite brutal, to be honest. Oh, man, my peoples. Listen, if you guys didn't tune in to Friday's live, you have no idea what you miss out. And check out my boy, bro. Check out my boy, David. He made his pro debut. He made his pro debut on Saturday. And your boy, Jay Smith, had the best seat in the house. The neutral corner. Check this out, my peoples. It's just like 30, 45 seconds so y'all see my boy. He really sit on his punches. Pro debut. He's only 1-0 right now. You're going to hear from him. And you're going to say, damn, Jay Smith put me on to this kid. Sharp. Real sharp punches. Punch placement is crazy. Almost every punch is hard. Wait till y'all see him, my people. He 1-0. His time is going to come. He's going to be on TV soon enough. But my people, I'm telling you, we got some young guns out here that they hungry and they nasty. Nasty. Young Guns, damn, that check hook. Wait till you see. He won, you know, it was a first round knockout. The referee had to step in. He was pummeling Buddy. And he's like on some Mike Tyson type shit. Like the round started, and he went for the kill right away. Boom, 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 boom. He fight at 135. A 135 pounder with crazy power. It's like every time he lands, you see guys like, ugh. I got to see him a couple of years ago in a few tournaments. And every time I went to see him, he won the gold medal, knocking people out, just beating people up, bro. He that type of guy. So David is one fighter y'all gonna be hearing from. Plus, I'm waiting for his coach to send me some information because that video, that little clip that you guys seen, I'm gonna post the entire video. So you get, so I get to have a little interview with his coach before the fight, and I also catch the whole action, the entire action from the moment he stepped in the ring until the moment he went down. I was hoping to see a few rounds so you guys can really see what he bring to the table, but he ended the show in the first round, my people. David is no joke. I can't wait for you guys to see the whole video. Elite level talent we got going on, my people. Look. Look at the left hook to the body and up top. First round, my people, he made real easy work. Like, it was like a minute and a half. The fight was over in a minute and a half. And Homeboy was trying to fight back and trying to land big punches. But, this man, he's going to hit you real hard in between punches. And you're going to feel that, man. It's like he got brick in his hand. Look at that. Devastating. It's almost like every punch he throws has that bad intention behind it. He sit on that left hook. Bang, bang. Crazy. His timing, counter punching, insane, bro. Side, had his dress flying all over the ring. Buddy had heart, but he couldn't keep up. Yeah, he definitely got heart. I know him too. I seen him in the amateurs win some tournaments. He got heart. But, when you got somebody in front of you that has that type of crushing power, you don't stand in front of him and trade leather. He should have been on that footwork. But that's the thing, man. Dave, he that type of fighter. He's going to apply that pressure. He's going to be in front of your face. So you either going to shell up or you're going to fight back. And when you fight back, he loved catching his opponents in between punches. That's his bread and butter. When you start punching, that's when you're going to get in trouble. You're going to catch you in between those. Jason Winner, top of the morning, good people. My brother, appreciate you dropping in, man. And everybody tuning in, man. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Y'all know you about to get this healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul going to be a real fight? That is the magic question. You know, I have to question it because it's an exhibition. You think about this. When is the last time that you saw an exhibition that was going to have, an exhibition between professional boxers that is going to have judges and somebody's going to be announced the winner? I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've seen winners be announced in exhibitions, but this is like little tough man competitions, little club shows, or YouTubers who won out of these YouTubers. But Jake Paul is a professional boxer. Tank Davis is a professional boxer, although they fight in two different weight classes. So they shouldn't be fighting, right? But if they are fighting, what do you mean we're going to announce a winner? That doesn't even make... Look at Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Was there a winner announced? No. There wasn't a winner announced. So, I don't understand it. This is an exhibition fight between two professional fighters. But you have judges? Make it a real... If you have judges and somebody's going to be announced the winner, then why is this an exhibition? Why is it an exhibition? So, they have a hard time convincing me that it's going to be a real fight. But if it is going to be a real fight, it's going to be exciting to watch. If Jake Paul versus Tank Davis is going to be an authentic, competitive boxing match, it's going to be interesting. I'm surprised to see how many people... Superman, salute my brother. I'm surprised to see how many people got Jake Paul winning that fight. If it's going to be for real. I'm surprised. How can you see a guy with the skills that Jake Paul has beating a world caliber fighter like Tank Davis off of size alone? Boxing doesn't work that way. The only advantages that Jake Paul is going to have in this fight is going to be the height and the strength. That's it. And in boxing, my people, height and strength is not going to be enough. When you're fighting a world caliber fighter, that's not going to be enough, my peoples. Jake Paul is gonna find himself in a very tough situation. The moment he realized that Tank Davis is too fast, Tank Davis' ring IQ is too much, his defense is too much, it's gonna be very evident to Jake Paul that he's levels and levels and levels below Tank Davis. And that I know he's gonna force the action to try to land a big shot, try to, make things go his way. I'm sitting here telling you, my peoples, the gap in skills is so much between Tank Davis and Jake Paul. He don't got a shot of landing that big shot on Tank Davis. No chance. I'll give you an example, so you can see what I mean by that. And the gap, the skills gap, this is why I'm making this comparison for you guys. When I was an amateur boxer, I had the opportunity to spar with Agapito Sanchez. Those of you who don't know that name, Agapito Sanchez actually fought to a draw with Manny Pacquiao. This guy fought to a draw with Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was dead in his prime, in his 20s, in his mid-20s. And he went to a draw with Pac-Man. So when I tell you, my peoples, that Agapito Sanchez can fight, he can fight. He was a special fighter. Rest in peace to Agapito Sanchez. His life was taken away in the Dominican Republic. He was here visiting on vacation, and he was killed out here. So rest in peace to Agapito. I got to spar with him, right? And when I sparred with him, I was in preparation for the Golden Gloves. And I was feeling myself because, you know, I was sparring with Golden Glovers, with amateur boxers, and I was doing real good. And then I sparred with this guy. Bro, let me just tell you, when I sparred with him, there wasn't shit I could do. This guy was taking it easy on me. Taking it easy. Moving around, little jabs, bang, bang, bang. He was putting that jab in my face. And then when I closed the gap, trying to work, damn, bro. Left and right to the body. He never punched me once hard to the head. Not once. In the head, little jabs, pop, pop, pop. Soft check left hook, pop. Like almost pushing my head. Never hit me hard to the head. But to the body, though, yo, he didn't forgive me. Pop, pop. Every time I try to catch him with a hard shot, pop, pop. He didn't forgive me to the body. And the gap in skills between himself and me was so much that by the third round, I felt almost scared of throwing punches. I felt nervous of throwing punches. You know why? Because by that round, it felt like every time I threw a jab, he was able to slip it and catch me with a hook to the body. Every time I threw a right hand, he will go over it and tap me in the top of the head. So when you have a world caliber fighter facing an amateur boxer, there ain't shit you're going to be able to do with him regardless of how good you look versus other amateurs. So I'm trying to tell you, the difference in skills between Tank Davis and Jake Paul is so wide that Jake Paul's big size is not even going to matter. It's not. I promise you. If they fight for real, I don't know if they're going to fight for real. This is an exhibition. They say they got judges. They're going to score it. Somebody's going to be announced the winner. If that's the case, if they'll fight for real, Tank is going to beat his ass. Going to beat him up. That's what's going to happen, and that's what's supposed to happen. Those who saying, oh, Jake Paul's mad big, watch. Man, listen. What's really, really big is the gap in skills. Yo, look. The gap in skills, it's like that. I'll get it even further back. Gabriel Puroy, your analysis is great. Good morning. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. The Hydro Grind is in the building. The Hydro Grind. I know you're going to be happy with this one as a legit Tankomaniac. I'm letting everybody know, if Jake Paul and Tank Davis, if they fight each other for real, Tank Davis is going to beat him up. Beat him up. The gap in skills, your size is not going to matter. How hard you hit is not going to matter. You got somebody in front of you that you ain't even going to be able to hit. You see that hard, boom, that hard right hand that he knocked out Woodley with? You got no chance of landing that shot on Tank Davis. None whatsoever. You're going to be outclassed. You know, you're going to have the slower footwork. You're going to have the slower hand speed. You're going to have the slower movement. The ring IQ is not even comparable. The boxing skills is not even comparable. So when your only advantage is height and strength, your ass is cooked. You are cooked. You could believe that. Jake Paul don't have a chance, bro. If they're gonna fight for real, he don't have a chance. The only thing that he does have a chance is to go the distance. Because being that big and having that much weight on Tank Davis, he might be able to absorb the punishment. He might be able to not get hit with a shot he doesn't see coming. Like he'll show up, boom, boom, boom. If he's gonna take 10 punches like that, boom, 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 boom. If he's gonna take it like that, he'll go the distance and get punished for 12 rounds. But if he's gonna try to fight back, he could get knocked out. If he's gonna try to trade leather, he could get knocked out. Just like everybody else been knocked out. People from Tank's camp saying he's bulking up for the fight, probably walking in at 165. Man, Tank ain't bulking up. He big as hell. He getting in shape. That's what he's doing. I don't see him bulking up. He already big as hell. Tank walk around 160, 170. So he ain't bulking up. He getting strong. He muscling up. Superman. Cook at death. He's going to get that. He's going to get that type of treatment from Tank Davis. Should the fight be for real. But I told you, my peoples, I'm skeptical. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're going to watch a real fight. And the reason I'm not sure if it's going to be a real fight or not. Hold on 1 second. The reason I'm not sure if it's going to be a real fight or not is because at the end of the day, it's an exhibition, my people. Good morning, Ryan. Come on, my people. It's an exhibition fight, and they're trying to convince us that it's real. By the way, y'all, good morning. Those of you having breakfast, enjoy it. Those of you who just woke up, get dressed and get ready for work, my peoples. Get dressed and get ready for work. If you're on your way to work, good morning. Good morning to everybody, man. Happy Wednesday. Again, it's another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, man. We doing what we do out here. We having boxing for breakfast. I mean, come on. It don't get no better, my peoples. And look, let me just say this. And this is why I felt like Boxing for Breakfast is a show that we all needed. You guys needed it, but I needed it too. And let me give you guys the quick recap on how Boxing for Breakfast was born. Give you guys that recap. Oh, shit. God damn, my peoples. Phone flying all over the place. Let me give you guys the quick recap on how Boxing for Breakfast was born. So I would get up in the morning and I would literally be talking to myself. Literally. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a figure of speech. I would be sitting maybe in this very spot with my bagel, with my muffin or pancakes or whatever I'm having for breakfast. And I would be sitting right here like, damn, man, I wonder if Shakur Stevenson is going to fight Tank Davis, man. That fight needs to happen. And shit, man, Terrence Crawford, oh, man, if he ever fights, Errol Spence is going to beat him. Or if he ever fights Canelo, you're going to, thinking all these things. So I'm really talking to myself, right? And then one day it just hit me like, yo, I imagine a bunch of boxing fans is in the same situation as me. Why? Think about it. Hardcore boxing, like if you're a real boxing fan, most of our family members ain't hardcore boxing fans unless you're a fighter or something like that. But most of our family, they ain't into boxing like that. Most of our family, they're casual boxing fans. If there's a big fight, if big stars are fighting, they'll watch. But they're not hardcore boxing fans. I can't sit my wife down at 6:30 in the morning to talk to her about boxing. She don't want to hear that shit. And most of your wives and girlfriends don't want to hear that shit. And then that's when I realized, yo, I need a morning boxing show that I can watch. Because I don't got nobody to talk boxing to. Ain't nobody, I'm looking on YouTube. Damn, anybody else that I could see doing it? And then that's when it hit me. Yo, boxing for breakfast. There's a lot of people out there who want to be talking boxing, who want to be talking about last week's fights, who want to be talking about the next fights coming up. Well, here you are. This is what Boxing for Breakfast, or why Boxing for Breakfast was born. For the boxing fan who's lonely at home when it comes to boxing, because ain't nobody talking boxing with your ass. Now you got me. Dale, yo vete. Jay William. Phone was like, down goes Frazier. Man, it went down in a way that I thought it wasn't getting back up. The Hydro Grind. It's so refreshing to wake up to some live boxing conversations. That's what I'm talking about, my guy. You know, it used to be before I would wake up in the morning, and you guys as well, wake up in the morning. And I don't know, I guess I could go on one of these channels and watch some boxing. We could watch. We could watch some replays of some fights. But we don't really have nobody to discuss it with. Nobody to dissect it with. Nobody. Yo, it feels good to trash talk in the morning sometimes too. You know, if I gotta trash talk you, you gotta trash talk me. Get it out your chest. Brian Walter, awesome stuff, brother. Be back soon, my boy. Appreciate you, man. And appreciate you tuning in. You know, everybody who shows up for Boxing for Breakfast, I know how much you guys love boxing. Because who's going to be listening or arguing or debating with somebody about the sweet science at 7 in the morning, at 8 in the morning? Some people go on Boxing for Breakfast when their local time be 4 in the morning and shit. So I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. And I'm gonna keep telling you guys, man, this is for you. This really is for you guys. Boxing for Breakfast, man. So let's get back to Tank Davis and Jake Paul, right? This fight is going down next month. They're gonna make a lot of money, which the money that Tank Davis and Jake Paul are gonna make has been the main topic of conversation. That's a way to ignore the fact that Tank Davis should have been doing a rematch with Lamar Roach. They're gonna make a lot of money. Is it gonna be a real fight? Are they really trying to hurt each other out there? The Hydro Grind addicts, you damn Skippy. Jason William, I love listening to boxing talk. I don't need to agree with everything. I just like hearing different perspectives. I agree with you 100%, my guy. And look, that's part of the reason I think that Boxing for Breakfast has been what it is. People, you know, boxing fans so far have been embracing it. You know, the channel has been growing fast because of it. I would say Boxing for Breakfast is the main reason why this channel is growing the way that it is. And I have to say, one of the things that I try to show you guys is that I don't expect everyone to agree with me on everything I say. I don't even want everybody to agree with me on everything I say, because how good would a conversation be where everybody has the same talking point, where everybody has the same point of view? Juan Ocasio, good morning, Box Center. Salute, my brother. Bam. So if we all agreed on everything and we all had the same talking point, I would start the live. I would tell you guys, Tank Davis ducking Lamar Roach, and this exhibition shouldn't have happened. You all would have been like, you're right, everybody. You're telling the truth, Jay. And I would have been like, oh, shit, okay, I guess we all agree, my peoples. I'm out of here. Peace out, boom. The show will last 5 minutes, bro, because if we all agree, what the hell we talking about then? So disagreeing is what makes a debate interesting. The disagreements, the different talking points. That's what makes it. The Hydro Grind. If it's Tank's last fight and he does go in with that mentality, he's going to end it with a bang. I mean, if it is a real fight, I've been telling everybody, if Jake Paul and Tank Davis are going to fight for real, Tank Davis is going to beat him up. Jake Paul doesn't stand a chance, my peoples. It doesn't matter the height, weight, strength. That's not gonna matter. It's too much of a gap in skill between them. The Hydro Grind, I don't see him playing around or sparring. I'm telling you, my peoples. There's gonna be a situation where Jake Paul is gonna be so outclassed that he's not gonna land. You know, that shot that he slept Woodley with, that's not gonna land on Tank Davis. The people that are saying Tank is too small, Jake is too big, and all of that, it's not going down like that, my peoples. That's why I told you guys, I myself, and this is no cap. You see that right there? Fighting Manny Pacquiao. That's Agapito Sanchez. And Agapito Sanchez fought to a draw with Manny Pacquiao when Manny was in his mid-20s, in his prime, like just beating people up. At that, to be honest, bro, and I don't mean this in a bad way, a lot of you didn't even know Manny Pacquiao when that fight happened. A lot of you hadn't even heard of Manny Pacquiao when that fight happened. And I even remember there was a TV announcer that called him Manny Pacquiao. He was like, Manny Pacquiao. And at that time, Agapito Sanchez, world caliber fighter, I got the opportunity to spar with him. Why? Because he's Dominican. My coach is Dominican and knew him real good. He trained at a Gleason's gym. You can Google that. That was his gym, his home gym, Gleason's in Brooklyn. So I used to see him every day there. And when I was preparing for the Golden Gloves, my coach talked to him like, yo, give my guy some work, help him out. And I sparred with him. Bro, I couldn't do shit with him. There was nothing I could do. And he's taking it easy on me. The whole time, he taking it easy on me. I'm talking about the only hard punch that he threw was the jab. Like a quick snappy jab. Pop, pop. And he was catching me with that. But the left and the right to the head, he never hit me hard, not once. He would do like a check left hook and literally push me with it. Like not even punching me in the head. Push, bang, like when you felt that it was a push, not a punch. The right hand too, he would like hold back and kind of like shove me with it instead of like punch me hard. So he was taking it super easy, right? Yo, we only did 4 rounds. By the 4th round, I was already scared of throwing punches. You know why? Because to the body, he was hitting me with some hard shots. And by the 4th round, it got to the point where almost every time, check this out, almost every time I try to step in with the, you know, the amateur boxers, because of the point scoring system, we always keep that high guard, right? So every time I try to step in with the jab, bang, I will step in, but he was so fast and his reaction time was so fast that by the time I was here, that left hook was already there, bang. And then I would try the right hand, bang. Then I'm trying to get on the inside on him, bang, 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 ooh. Bro, by the 4th round, I was scared of throwing punches. And this guy's taking it easy on me. So I'm trying to show you that the gap in skills as an amateur, I won in the Golden Gloves, right? I'm headed to the semifinals. I beat somebody. I feel like I'm the shit. Yeah, I'm going to spar with you, my boy. I ain't scared of you. Well, by the 4th round, I was scared already. Because the gap in skills between a world caliber fighter and myself was too much, my peoples. It was too much. There was nothing I could do about it. This guy was playing with me. Playing with me. And beating me up. And then to make it embarrassing, he did it as a southpaw, B. He taking it easy. Let me go southpaw on you. Pa, 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 pa. Like if you watching it, this guy's relaxed on me. This how Agapito looking against me. Like this guy looked like he was playing with me, bro. Playing, just hopping around and punching me. So when there's that much of a difference in skills, that gap like that, easy work. Tank Davis gonna beat Jake Paul up. Beat him up. Young Guns. Buddy was tuning that body up, bro. Gave me that full tune-up. Full tune-up. And my coach was like, yo, you gotta bring them hands down some block. But I was scared. I was scared because he was just so fast. So, matter of fact, look. I'm gonna show you, my peoples. Because to me, it was an honor, a privilege to step in the ring with a guy who fought Manny Pacquiao. Come on now, my people. Pacquiao, watch. Young Guns, hold on. Vic, did you piss blood? I didn't, man, but I was feeling that for a couple of days. I was feeling those shots. Vic, I fought Vargas before his Olympic trials at 136. Jojo Diaz's dad was my coach in the 90s. Ooh, that must have been fun. You got in there with one of the guys. Juan Ocasio. That happened to me when I sparred one of my boys when we were younger that boxed for a while. I couldn't even hit dude. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go play baseball. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, my peoples. And by the way, let me tell you something. This is interesting. Manny Pacquiao made his top rank debut versus Agapito Sanchez. And the fight was a draw. He couldn't win. Agapito Sanchez started making mad money after that because they brought Manny Pacquiao to top rank. This is going to be the next big superstar, and he couldn't beat Agapito Sanchez. The Dominican guy that, doesn't have all those resources, doesn't have all that money behind him. Put all type of heads on Manny Pacquiao. But at that time, Manny Pacquiao wasn't such a big star. So a lot of people didn't even see that fight. Agapito Sanchez, bro, versus Manny Pacquiao. And then it turned into a dirty fight. They was hitting each other with their heads, slamming each other around. Look at the type of fight this was. It was one of those fights, man, where they was all over the place. They was all over the ring. In the floor, shoving each other around. It was one of those type of fights. But, like I said, man, from stepping in the ring with a world caliber fighter and seeing the difference between my skills and his and how there was just nothing I could do to him, that's why I'm telling you, ain't shit Jake Paul's gonna be able to do to Tank Davis, my people. He ain't gonna be able to do nothing. The same way Agapito made it look easy on me, Tank is gonna make it look easy on Jake. Vic, he was like at 22, like Ban Rios and Chavez. At that time, I think it was 20. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been 26. I don't remember very well, but I think Agapito Sanchez fought at 26. And Agapito was nice, man, nice. You know who I got to see him sparring in Gleason's gym with? With Zab Judah. And I'm talking about Zab Judah with Zab, because when I was in Gleason's, Zab was only like 12 and 0, 11 and 0 around it. So young, hungry lion at that time. Hasn't won a title yet, hasn't accomplished. And yo, when Agapito and Zab was sparring, they was giving each other that work. They was giving each other. It's not like Zab was smoking them. And Agapito shorter too, smaller than Zab. But he was fast and strong. And it was good work from both sides. Vic, he beat Floyd ass. Listen, my peoples. We have to stop thinking that big and strong wins fights. That was the whole narrative of why Canelo was supposedly going to beat Crawford. Y'all remember that? That was the whole reason. Vic, Zab a Brooklyn guy or no? I think you mean Zab when it says Jab there. Zab is from Brooklyn. 100% Brooklynite. That man is a Brooklyn icon. Salute to Zab Judah, my people. I'm going to tell you like this. When I started Box Center, let me tell you guys something interesting. When I started Box Center, I was like, let me hit Zab Judah up. Maybe he's going to remember me, maybe not. Remember, the last time that I was in Gleason's gym was in 1999. 1999 was the last time that I was in Gleason's gym, because that year I participated in the Golden Gloves, lost in the semifinals, didn't have the discipline, didn't have the motivation, the girls, the weed, the liquor, ended up getting out of boxing. So I want you to think about this. In 2023, I haven't seen or heard from Zab Judah in over 20 years. I mean, I've seen him on social media, but I mean, actually, me and him talking, it's been over 20 years. So I figured, damn, he probably not even going to remember me, but you never know. I sent him a DM. Yo, Zab, I don't know if you remember, bro. I'm Jay. I used to train with Maximo. At the time, I had the long braids. I went to the gloves. Remember, you was giving me some tips. Yo, he hit me up right away. Oh, shit, Jay, I remember you. What's up, bro? Right away. I was shocked. I was like, there's no way he's going to remember me. Not only did he remember me, I said, yo, Zab, I'm just starting off right now. Nobody know me. Nobody rocking with me. You know, you think you could give me an interview, my G? I would appreciate it. Yo, he didn't hesitate. I'm talking about, I didn't even have 100 subscribers, bro. Must have had like 60 subscribers. And Zab Judah hopped on with me. Real, yo, Zab Judah, salute to Zab Judah, man. Yo, that's one of the realest niggas I know. I promise you. Man, yo, he real as hell. Because no way you're a world champion, a Brooklyn icon, you a celebrity, and you hopping on my channel with like 50 subscribers where nobody's even watching to politic boxing with me for like an hour? So yeah, Zab Judah's a real one. And he's been on the channel with me a couple of times. Privately, we talk once in a while. Zab Judah's a real one, my people. So when I started, you know, this whole thing off, like, yeah, I'm going to do boxing. That's it. We on it. Zab Judah was the first person to show me love, to show me some support. That I said, damn, somebody help me out. So people could start seeing my name. People could start seeing what I do. Because you guys have to understand, you guys been subscribed to the channel for a while, and you know what I do. You know how I get down. But there's a lot of people that don't know me. So when you know, if you think about it, 2,000 subscribers, that's a small count. We're growing. You know, it's more than the people that got 100, 200, 2,000. But it's still a relative low number. So the overwhelming majority of boxing fans don't know me. So when they first see me, they be like, who's this guy? Who are you talking like your opinion is relevant? Like, who are you? That happens to me a lot. You'll be surprised, my people. Sometimes I could go in a boxing group and I just make an opinion. And people who don't know me will rain on me. Oh, what are you talking about? You don't even know boxing like that. I could tell you don't know shit about boxing. And then I have to go, hey, y'all know how I do. Then I have to cook them thoroughly so that they could be like, oh shit, okay. You know a little son. Eventually, I'm not going to have to cook people anymore because they're just going to take my word. Besides, Zab is a real dude. Nur Fatima, bro, what do you think of Tank versus Paul? If it's a real fight, Tank Davis is going to beat him up. Simple as that. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that it's a real fight because it's an exhibition. Are they really going to try to hurt each other? Are they really going to try to knock each other out? I don't know that. But if they are, Tank Davis is going to beat them up. That's why I gave the example of when I was an amateur boxer, I got to spar with a world caliber fighter and I got beat up. Made to look easy. There wasn't shit I could do with him. Nothing. Ain't nothing Jake Paul's going to be able to do. Other than get cooked out there. Vic, you watch Boxing for Life with LeBron? I did not. I don't know what that is, my brother. I'm not familiar with what that is. Vic, I've gotten more about boxing than getting the bag for some sparring. Okay. I'm closer right now. I tell you, my peoples, Tank Davis versus Jake Paul is the type of fight that it is going to be interesting. Hold on, let me close the door. Tank Davis versus Jake Paul is still super interesting. We want to know if it's going to be real. Is it going to be a real fight? That's the thing, my people. We want to know if it's actually going to be a real fight. Are they really going to try to be hurting each other out there? Or is it scripted? Hold on, my people. My son want to give me a hug. Y'all know he go first. Give me a hug. You want to say good morning to the people? I love you. I love you, man. You want to say I love you, Daddy? What you want?
I want something.
You want something? What you want? You want milk? Okay, sit down right there. Well, you got this. You got to drink that. Sit right there. You very cold? Let me get you something. Hold on.
I want my Cheetos.
Hold on. Give me a second. But how far did we go? That's the question. There's no way Tank's going to lose, especially if it's an exhibition. I mean, right there, I feel like they're trying to bamboozle us. Because how do you have an exhibition and at the same time a winner and a loser? It really doesn't make sense. There's normally nobody wins or loses in an exhibition. But somehow they're trying to convince us that this is a real fight. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I have to see them get in the ring to finally decide, well, quiero su lechita. I have to watch the fight actually happen to see how it's going to play out. Because right now, I really don't know if they're going to fight for real. I just don't know. Vic, now, but why is Paul's record official if no sanctioning bodies sanction any of his fights? No, that's incorrect, my brother. That's incorrect, Vic. All of his fights have been sanctioned by a sanctioning body. If your fights are not sanctioned, they won't make it to BoxRec. So they have to be sanctioned. You cannot fight professionally if your fights are not sanctioned by a sanctioning body. So somebody is sanctioning those fights. Just like myself, I got one professional fight. For it to be professional, it has to be sanctioned. An official sanctioning body has to acknowledge it. Courtney Middlebrock. I think everyone tired of you talking about Tank and Jake, bro. It's plenty of boxing to talk about. So, Courtney, go ahead and bring something up. What do you want to talk about? You're tired of it, but you're talking about it too. The Hydro Grind. I think they're going to fight for real, but need to call it an exhibition due to regulations. I understand that talking point, the Hydro Grind, because obviously a sanctioning body is not going to approve a fight between two guys where there's such a weight discrepancy. But they could have explored an option to make a professional fight at an open weight. Make it a pro fight at an open weight. Explore that option. I think it's possible to do that. An open weight where we don't have to weigh the same. Could have done that. And that's just me throwing it out there. My whole point is an exhibition fight where they're telling us it's real is hard at least to convince me that it's real. I have to see it actually happen. Superman, Jay was putting that work in and then made to look easy against the DR Pro. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, man. I felt going into that spar, I remember being really, really excited. Like, wow, I'm going to spar Agapito Sanchez. Because the thing is, I didn't know. This is not something that was planned like days in advance or anything like that. I found out that same morning. I went to the gym. I put my stuff on. I was already doing my stretches and the little things that you do before sparring. And that's it. Before I know it, my coach just walked up to me and was like, yo, you're going to spar with Agapito. I was like, huh? Agapito Sanchez? He was like, yeah. And I remember being mad excited, my people. I was like, oh my God, yo. I'm going to show Agapito what I got. I'm going to show these moves that I'm bringing to him. There's little things that I was working on at that time. I still remember it. Look at one thing that I was working on at the time. Remember, this is amateur boxing. And in amateur boxing, you're trying to score points, right? You're trying to land those shots with the part of the glove and all that stuff. This is something that I was working on at the time, right? Amateur boxer, remember. I will go like this, go forward, like with a little hop forward. And I will fake like I'm going to give you, like I'm going with a hook down low, but then I will go with a straight right hand up top. So I was doing this basically. Look at it right here. Boom. And that was like in the amateur game, that was bread and butter for me. I used to stay catching guys with that. Like I would go like I'm going down low. Boom. And they're not even waiting for that right hand. Catch them flush. Boom. Well, I tried that against Agapito Sanchez. First time or second time, I don't remember which time I tried it. I go like this with the left hook. Boom! Bro, by the time I was trying to shoot the right hand, I got that knuckle sandwich fell right to my mouth. Shit wasn't gonna work. Tried it again. By the time I tried to go in with the left hook, boom! Catches me with a shot. My peoples, that little that I thought was a great trick, perfect trick on the money, boom! Catching him with that right hand. Agapito Sanchez made me feel like that was some bum shit that I was doing around bums that don't work nowhere. I was on the money with that right hand. I hurt people with that right hand. Boom! I didn't land it one time on Agapito Sanchez. One. By the last round, I was scared of even trying it. Because he was hitting me real hard to the body. Juan Ocasio, you can get a license, how Vic to be pro, and fight next week. I mean, listen, anybody can get a license. Well, not anybody, because you have to do some physical tests, right? So you can't just get a license. You have to pass certain tests to get it. In my case, remember, I had my pro debut at 43 years old. So what that meant was that I had to go see a doctor. He had to check me out. He had to check my blood, my pressure, and certain other things in my body, my heart, before he gave me the green light. Then I got the boxing license. Without that letter from the doctor, you can't get a license. You have to pass that physical. Juan Ocasio, I'm Jace. It's that easy. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. I felt so confident when I was gonna spar with Agapito. Like I felt like we was gonna walk out of that sparring and he was gonna tell me, damn, you good, yo, you nice. That's how in my head it played out. Yo, after we finished the sparring, man, Agapito came to me and was like, yo, don't worry about it, man. You just gotta keep grinding, you just gotta keep going hard, and you just gotta keep learning. I was like, thanks, man, thanks. But I thanked him, but in the inside, I felt like shit, man. Because I just couldn't do nothing. There was nothing I could do, my peoples. Everything that I did, his reaction time was too fast for me. So it's like I couldn't land good shots. And it was very hard for me to make him miss because he was too fast for me. Different ball game, my peoples. And Jake Paul is going to be in the same situation that I was in with Agapito Sanchez. He's going to be in a situation where he's outclassed by a lot. By a landslide. Vic, I could turn pro. I committed to the Marines to get out of juvie. I feel you, bro. And I tell you what, my dream was to turn professional when I was younger. But the girls, man, the girls got the best of me. The liquor got the best of me. The lifestyle got the best of me, and I just didn't have the discipline to stay with it. I felt like I don't honestly, look, because I'm somebody that I'm realistic, right? I don't think that I had the talent to become a world champion. Looking back and looking at myself and the way that I fought, I think that I had the talent to maybe become a gatekeeper, maybe become somebody that you have to go through to get to the champ. I could have been somebody who's not going to beat the champion, but is going to give him a tough fight. Like that type of fighter. But I didn't have the talent that I was going to be a world champion and winning multi-divisions and do all this other stuff. Maybe I could have went up to grabbing a vacant title or to grabbing a title from a lower level champ and then getting beat up by one of the best guys. Like I could have had a decent career, but I wasn't, I didn't have the talent to be one of the best in the division, so no shit like that. I could have been a good boxer though. Vic, I was like Pitbull Cruz, all bro. Ooh, letting the hands fly. Superman, you still was nice on the low. I mean, I have my skills, man, but I told you, when I step in the ring with Agapito Sanchez, I got demoralized, bro. Demoralized. I just got beat up. And not even hitting me hard to the head, just rocking my body, though. GHBTB, Greg Hackett is in the building, my peoples. Good morning, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Bam. Yo, Greg, is Jake Paul versus Tank Davis going to be a real fight, bro? Is it going to be a real fight? Or they just got like a script and they already know what's going to happen. They already know how it's going to all play out. Vic, like Gabe Rosado. You see, Gabe Rosado's a slugger. That's the hope that I kind of gave myself. Like, I felt like I'm not as nice as some of the dudes that I've seen when I was an amateur boxer. But I did have some skills. And maybe I could have been like a Maidana. Maybe I could have been like a Castillo, who they wasn't the most technically sound fighters, but they had enough skills and a lot of heart to win some fights, to win big fights. Young Guns, boxing should do a senior division. I mean, they have, it's just, like a separate kind of thing, but they have like some type of boxing for older people. Vic, Pito was like La Chinita Gonzalez. Agent 17, the body shots eat you up, Jay Smith. Bro, I got some nasty nasty body shots fed to me. And from that point on, that's it. Everything changed. Everything changed, my G. And Greg Hackett, check it out, man. I've been telling everyone, that's Agapito Sanchez. This is the example that I'm giving everyone so they understand what's gonna happen to Jake Paul. That's Agapito Sanchez. Agapito Sanchez fought Manny Pacquiao to a draw. When Manny was in his mid-20s, this guy can fight. And most people don't know Agapito Sanchez and didn't watch this fight because that's when Manny Pacquiao made his debut with Top Rank. So a lot of people didn't even know Manny Pacquiao at the time. In fact, the announcer was like, Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao. They was calling him Manny Pacquiao. They didn't even know how to pronounce his name at the time. So most boxing fans from today didn't watch Pacquiao versus Agapito Sanchez. That was a very long, like 20 years ago, some shit like that. But Agapito Sanchez is a fighter who trained out of Gleason's gym, and I had the opportunity to spar with him. Now, when I sparred with him, he had already been a championship caliber fighter, and I'm a guy that's preparing for the Golden Gloves in the novice class. I wasn't even in open class. I was in novice class. And my coach, Agapito Sanchez Dominican, my coach is Dominican and knew him really good. So he was like, yo, I want you to spar with my fighter, help him out. He's going to the gloves. So he was like, yeah, I got him. So I sparred 4 rounds with him. Bro, there was nothing I could do. He's taking it easy on me, right? He's not punching me hard to the head at all. Some quick jabs. Pop, pop, he jabbing me. But the left and the right to the head, no power behind it at all. No black eye, no broken nose, no nothing. No hard punches like that. But to the body, though, oh, he's seasoning me up. Right. So every time I try to step in with that jab, bang, bang. I'm trying the right hand, bang. I'm trying to step on the inside, bang, 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 bang. Bro, by the 4th round, I was scared of throwing punches. We started off with me thinking, I'm going to impress the champion. I'm going to show the champion my skills. And after this, he's going to give me flowers. Like, yo, you can fight. Be you nice. Yo, by the end of the thing, Agapito was just trying to make me feel okay. Because I was just down. Like, yo, don't worry. You just got to keep grinding. You got to keep working hard. You're going to get better. It's just about working, grinding. I got beat up when I was young, too. So there was nothing I could do because there was the gap in skills was way too much. I didn't land a single significant shot in those 4 rounds. And he was just teeing off to the body. They were, like I'm telling you, by the time we got to the 4th round, I was scared of throwing punches because every time I threw a punch, his reaction time and his quickness, it was too much for me. Kept beating me up to the body. Superman. That pronunciation of Manny's name was nasty work. That was nasty, bro. That Manny Pacquiao. Look, the pronunciation was so crazy that like 20 years later, I still remember it exactly. It's Manny Pacquiao. That's how they used to call him. Agent 17, damn, Jay Smith, he put them hands on your body. No homo. Bro, no diddy. He had them hands to the left, to the right, side of my rib cage in the middle. Just some shots, man, that I never felt before. I remember, he caught me with a shot. I tried to catch him with a right hand, right? As he was stepping in. Boom. And he caught me with a shot that I've seen Zab Judah do this. And he did it to me. Yo, when I threw the punch, right? He took the punch as a right-handed. He blocked it as a right-handed, but he stepped in, right? Blocked the punch, boom. And as soon as he blocked it, he stepped in and caught me with the left. So remember, he's standing on the right hand, on that stance. And as I threw the punch, he stepped into it to make me miss. and caught me right. Yo, he hit me so hard that it felt like he wasn't wearing a glove. It felt like he hit me with a clean fist. That's how hard he hit me with that. Boom, like going up. This dude done lifted my rib cage. It felt like my rib cage went like that inside of me. That's how you know. After that, I didn't even throw no more like hard punches because I was scared to get hit. I was literally, I'm telling you, you're not going to hear a lot of boxers telling you this. I'm telling you. Round number 4 of a sparring session, I was scared of getting hit. Because I realized this guy was too fast. His reflexes was too much. His counterpunching was too much. So it's like, I'm going to throw a punch and he's going to hit me before my punch goes out. Or I'm going to throw a punch and he's going to make me miss and hit me real hard to the body. So I got to that point when the 4th round where I didn't even want to throw punches. I preferred to just move around and show up. You're going to see Jake Paul deal with somebody who has a huge advantage skills-wise. The same way Agapito Sanchez had too much of an advantage on me and there was nothing I could do, you're going to see that with Jake Paul and Tank Davis. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot that Jake Paul is going to be able to do. And I'm telling you, my peoples, if this fight is going to be for real, Jake Paul's getting beat up. Getting beat up. That's just the reality. He's getting beat up. Age of 17. That's why there's levels to boxing. That's a fact. People don't get it. People don't get it. There's levels. It's not about who's bigger. It's not about who's stronger. It's about who can. It's usually going to boil down to who can fight the best. And when you have somebody who's world caliber, and then you have a C-level guy like Jake Paul, now he getting beat up. He don't got a chance. He don't got a chance. My best punches that I was on the money with in the amateur game, they wasn't shit for a world caliber fighter. There was nothing I could do with Agapito Sanchez. Ain't nothing Jake Paul's going to be able to do with Jake Paul. I mean, ain't nothing Jake Paul going to be able to do with Tank Davis. Side, Jake going to be a walking heavy bag. Corey B, you caught the Pac-Man Keith Thurman body shot? Ooh, come on now. He folded him. For a moment there, it looked like Keith was going to go down. You remember Pac-Man almost walked away like, yo, he down. And then Keith got back up and they kept fighting. But he folded Keith Thurman. Vic, the Colossal versus Thurman up the gut. Keith Thurman been hurt a few times to the body. That was one of them. That was nasty. Sean Culver. Who is this talking? Who is this talking? I'm Jay Smith, my G. What do you mean, who's this talking? AJ 17. AJ versus Ruiz showed that strength and physique means nothing in boxing. Side, Keith body, his weakness. He been hurt a few times to the body, and I think opponents look for that because they know. They're like, yeah, that's what I'm shooting for. Vic, even Josecito Lopez hurt him to the body. Sean Culver. Just checking, homie. Thanks. No doubt, my G. This is Boxing for Breakfast right here. If you want to get your boxing fix early in the morning from Mondays through Fridays, this is where it's at, my peoples. Sean Cutler, I think Jake outweighing him by 80 pounds is going to make a big difference, like getting hit by a toddler. Superman, he put the different beats on you, and Swiss and Dre and Respected Apples on you. He did. To the body, he did. Actually, yo, I don't want to describe it that badly, but it was that badly. And mind you, I never took no damage to the face. He didn't hit me. He caught me with some sharp jabs. But the left and the right, he never hit me hard, not once. All the hard shots went for the body. And he made me pay. Look, Jake Paul having those pounds over Tank. He's not gonna be, by the way, 80 pounds heavier than Tank Davis. So let me clarify something. The limit for this fight, to my understanding, is gonna be 190. So the limit is gonna be 190, and Jake Paul and Tank Davis is probably gonna weigh like 160, 165. Oh, 195. There you go. So Tank Davis is gonna weigh probably like 165. It's gonna be like a 30-pound difference. Sean Culver, because when I weigh somebody by 20 pounds, when I fought amateur, oh shit, it didn't hurt when I got hit in the body at all. So that's one thing, and that's a good point for you to bring up, Sean, because I don't think Tank Davis is really gonna hurt Jake Paul to the body. Right? I'm bringing up my situation because I got completely outclassed by someone who was a world caliber fighter while I was an amateur boxer. Like, there was nothing I could do. I'm bringing that up because I see the same thing with Tank Davis and Jake Paul. You know, Jake might not get hurt to the body, but he's going to be way outclassed out there. The same way that I couldn't even land a significant punch on Agapito Sanchez, I don't think Jake Paul is going to land a single significant punch. That punch that he knocked out Woodley with and that he's knocked out other people out with, he don't stand a chance of landing that punch on Tank Davis. That's why I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. If it's a real fight, Tank going to beat him up. Vic, you watch Paulie Malignaggi bare knuckle fight? So I didn't watch the whole fight. I watched the highlights. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, I'm 100% against bare knuckle fighting. I'm against it. Could be fun to watch. Could be entertaining. You know, by nature, we enjoy brutality. I'm not with that. People with no gloves beating each other up. Look at his face. Like, nah, I'm not with that. To me, that's too savage. That's way too savage for me. Bare knuckle, to me, that should be illegal. Because of the type of damage that you see on people. That type of damage, like bare knuckle boxers, man, I couldn't. You see how once in a while you see a boxer who he can't talk right, who he's not right because he took a lot of punishment. Yo, bare knuckle boxers, I feel like almost all of them gonna end up like that. Almost all of them gonna end up like that. My peoples, give me a second. Let me put the cartoons for my son. Give me a second. I'll be right back. That's in English.
I want Natalie.
Ashley.
Natalie.
Nice one. Which one is those?
Frida.
Little bears. The pig. Wait a minute. No. I'm going to put the ninja. I said. I said ninja. I didn't know that was a ninja. That's just a ninja?
No. My dad wanted to go to the park.
Wanna watch this?
Yes.
Oh, she's in the park. What's her name? What's her name? Ashley?
Natalie.
Oh, National?
Yes.
My peoples. I'm back. I had to play some cartoons for my son. Sean Culver, I didn't know you could see our comments. Thank you for responding back to me. Oh, no doubt, my G. This is back and forth. Boxing for breakfast is not about me. Yes, I share opinion. I talk all type of crap, but it's also about you. It's about your opinion, what you think about these fights, your perspective, your trash talking. You know, so it's a back and forth kind of thing, my brother. Side, Paulie face looked like he ran through a storm of razor blades. Paulie wasn't looking good, man. But like I told you before I stood up for a quick commercial break, I'm not with the bare knuckle boxing, my people. To me, that's too savage. That's too, just having two people with fists punching each other. That's too primitive for me. That shouldn't even be legal. In my opinion, that shouldn't even be legal. Just like that sport that I think that should, or I don't even know how that made it to be an actual sport. The one that they slap each other, the slap contest or whatever the hell that is, the slap league, which Dana White I think bought that shit. That thing is crazy, man. That thing, like, how do you have a sport where people can just stand there and allow themselves to get hit, boom, unless you could take more slaps? All these people is gonna be, stuttering, can't even talk, half retarded. Within a few years from now, they're gonna be all brain damaged, punch drunk, slap drunk. How do you allow a sport like that to even be legal? Agent 17, his name is Nam Pham. That one MMA fighter, he slurs his words. Now, about 10 years ago, he spoke completely fine. And there's a lot of fighters like that. But what I'm saying is, you see 2, 3 of them in boxing, they all gonna be like that. And that slap contest shit, that power slap shit, they're all gonna be messed up in the game. They're all gonna be brain damaged. That shouldn't even be a sport. That shit is crazy. Think about it. It don't take no skill whatsoever. How hard you can slap somebody and how hard you can take a slap. There ain't no skills, no footwork, no movement, no defense. Hit me and I'ma hit you. That's not a sport. That's straight up stupidity. I don't care how much you pay them. And I know they don't get paid a lot to get slapped around and get their brain damage. So I'm not with that sport at all, man. I don't support them. Agent 17, my thing froze. Have you seen Nam Pham J. Smith? I have not seen him, my brother. Slap silly for real. I mean, think about it, bro. A sport, like, that should not be considered a sport. It should. You stand there like this, boom. It literally takes 0 skills to do that sport. It don't take no skills. Can you take a slap? Can you give a slap? Nah. That's not a real sport. I don't support that. It's going to be a bunch of people with brain damage. By the time they discontinue that sport, because I see that thing getting discontinued, it's going to be like, damn, look, all these people are brain damaged. All these people can't even talk right because they was practicing that power slap shit. Agent 17, Ronda Rousey was thinking of joining Power Slap with her glass chin. Look, man, I don't know if Ronda Rousey is struggling financially, because that power slap shit is like, that's some real lower level, lower tier shit right there. Like, that's not even real athletes, bro. You're an athlete who's made a lot of money, and you're going to go to this C-level power slap league? Come on, man. Agent 17, I seen some dude on Facebook comment that Dana should be U.S. president. Bro would introduce max wage. Alright. Let him introduce that max wage over there in UFC where he ain't paying shit to nobody. Vision Omega. What if Jake tries to mimic Roach's approach to fighting Tank? He can't. It's impossible. I'm going to tell you why it's impossible. You have to understand that Lamar Roach is a guy who was able to stand in front of Tank Davis for 12 rounds, either walking him down or standing right in front of him, making him miss and making him pay, blocking his shot, making him miss, right there in front of him. If Jake Paul attempts to do that, he is going to get knocked out because he doesn't have the skill set to be able to stand right there, point blank range with Tank and make him miss. He don't have the skill set to do that. He will get knocked out. He doesn't. That's too much of a high level for Jake Paul to try to do that. He's gonna try to use his height and reach and try to use that range to catch Tank Davis with that long right hand, with that long jab. That's gonna be his thing. And Tank Davis' job is gonna be to get on the inside so he can operate. But when you have the faster footwork, the faster hand speed, and the better ring IQ, getting on the inside for Jake Paul, getting on the inside on Jake Paul is going to be a walk in the park for Tank Davis. He has too much advantage in speed. He wants to go in and out, he'll be able to do that. Get inside, pop, 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 back outside. He's going to be able to do that. Agent 17. So I heard a rumor today that Canelo, when he was 23, accidentally caused an other spar partner to have a stroke after a spar. But I'm not sure how true this is. It's possible that it happened, but you just never know. With sparring sessions, people always trying to keep those things private and all that, so you just never know if that's actually true. Sean Culver, speed is power. If he runs into left hand, he might be night-night. I'm going to tell you this. If Jake Paul tries to trade leather on the inside with Tank Davis, he could go to sleep. He could go to sleep. But if he tries to box Tank, right, where he's going to be on the outside, and he's going to be moving, and he's going to be, trying to block punches. If he does that fight, if Jake Paul decides that he's going to survive, Tank is not going to knock him out. He's big enough and strong enough to take Tank's punches. If he's going to be shelling up, boom, 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 and backing away and clinching and shelling up some more, he could weather the storm and go the distance with Tank. But if he's out there to try to actually fight and hurt Tank and beat Tank, he could get knocked out. He could eat a nasty counter shot and get knocked out. He could get hurt. And after getting hurt, get pummeled and stopped. So I think it all depends on what type of fight Jake Paul is going to try to make. If he's there to survive, he could go the distance with Tank Davis. If he's there to survive. If he's there thinking that he can win and trying to win, he can get knocked out. If he eat a shot that he don't see coming, if he miss with that big right hand, and Tank Davis come from way under, boom! Trust me, Jake Paul could go to sleep, my peoples. Don't get it twisted. And to those who have told me that Jake Paul stands a chance, I promise you, if they're fighting for real, he has no chance whatsoever against Tank Davis. None. None, my peoples. Not happening. Agent 17. So Javier Juaregui died on an aneurysm sparring Canelo, and Televisa accused Canelo of murdering him. Damn. So Canelo cut his sponsor with Televisa and then permit them to stream his next fight. But Javier Widow confirmed it was an aneurysm and the autopsy backs it. And that could be very traumatizing for a fighter. When they get in a ring and something happens to their opponent, some fighters don't want to fight after that. Some fighters don't fight the same way after that. I'm glad Canelo was able to get past that situation. The brain, 7 rounds in the back from last night with a 19 and 23-year-old. My first time walking with a bad headache after the guy. Whoa. Whoa. 7 rounds in the back with the young gun. Look, man, the last time that I had a bad headache was when I made my pro debut. That's something that a lot of, most fans, if you haven't boxed, you won't understand that part of it. And I want to tell you guys about it. Breed, whoa, this is a good one. Even if it's funny. Look, when it comes to fighting, there's things that if you haven't fought, you don't really get to see and you don't really understand it. I want to tell you guys something. In my fight, it was a pro debut. It was a 4-rounder. If it's a debut, it's a 4-rounder, right? After a 4-rounder, where it was a close fight, I dropped my opponent. He dropped me. It went the distance. He actually dropped me with 10 seconds to go in the last round. So when I got up and the ref counted, the fight was over. I was like, damn, like I couldn't get back to him. That's it. There was no more fight. And let me tell you something, my peoples. If you watch the fight, you're going to feel like you're watching two C-level fighters who are not elite, who are not world championship caliber. And you don't really see nothing from it. Like, you see some shots land, but you don't really see nothing like oh my God, they killing each other. It doesn't really look like that. Yet, this is something that you guys don't get to hear from the boxers because boxers don't say it. After that fight, my peoples, I lasted about 3 days throwing up. Throwing up. And I'm not talking about throwing up blood, not like that. It's just that I had such a bad headache that for 3 days, I was getting constantly nauseous. So the day after the fight, when I ate my breakfast, I threw that up right away. Horrible headache. My lunch, threw that up. So I lasted 3 days that my headache was so bad that I was getting nauseous and throwing up for 3 days. After the 3rd day, I stopped throwing up, but the headache was still there. The body ache was still there. My arms, from some of the punches I took, it was still there. I spent, I would say, for my body to feel perfectly normal, it probably took like 3 weeks. 3 weeks to a month before I felt like I was normal Jay again. Now try to imagine if that was only a 4-rounder. A 4-rounder and my body was cooked. Headache, body ache, throwing up, and it was a 4-rounder. So try to imagine the effect on fighters when they're in a 12-round war. Try to imagine Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, who went at it for 12 rounds. Big, strong guys. Imagine Errol Spence after getting beat up like that by Crawford. How long he was in pain. He had headaches, his body fucked up. So people don't see that. People don't understand what the fighters actually go through after these fights, after these wars. Age of 17, I don't recommend sparring on 2 hours of sleep. Well, 2 hours of sleep is something that we don't recommend, period. 2 hours of sleep is no good for nothing. Sean Culver, normal people that haven't fought don't know what it's like to get hit with those small gloves. It's no joke. You're right. And the thing is, because remember, I made my pro debut, right? This is the first time that I'm fighting with no headgear. So when you fighting with those 8-ounce gloves and no headgear, those punches feel different. They feel way different when they land clean. Age of 17. Got a migraine after I slept again an hour after the spar. The brain. That nausea feeling, is what I have right now. Water Eyes. I may not be able to spar this Thursday with him. Bro, you know you're not right when you breathing like this too. When you start going like that. I spent 3 days like that, bro. Telling you. So it's it's beautiful to see what happens in the ring. But my peoples, you don't want to know how it really is after the fight. How it really is when you wake up the next day. Why you think fighters fight and they disappear for a week that you don't even see them? They not out celebrating. They not out getting twisted. Yeah, they do that. You know, they might go have a good time after. But trust me, normally you see fighters disappear for a few days after the fight because they healing. They getting their body back together. Because even if you won, your body still take the type of punishment that is going to take time for you to heal. Unless you went out and obliterated the guy first round knockout, that's different. But if two fighters go 4, 5, 6 rounds, championship rounds, trust me, you have no idea what the recovery process is like. Bree, do you think Tank will retire? Or do you think he's trying to do the money made BS? Honestly, when I really see everything that's happening and think about it, I don't think he's going to retire. But I think that he may just stick to this formula. For example, he's fighting Jake Paul. Maybe he decides to fight Conor McGregor afterwards. You know, somebody from MMA, somebody from a different sport that's very famous and is going to bring him a huge pay. Because now he's going to know, well, my fans are going to support these exhibitions. And the person I'm fighting with, they're going to support it too. So I don't know if we'll ever see Tank Davis boxing with one of the great boxers of his era. You know, it's looking like we're never going to see it. MAW in the building. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Agent 17, Jay Smith. When I sparred on 2 hours of sleep, I had to spar at noon and work the night before and managed to get 2 hours of sleep. Then I woke up and my body and got the brakes beat off of me. Bro, let that be a lesson. Just let that be a lesson to you and don't do that again. You know, you might try. Because if you just sleep 2 hours and you go spar, it's going to come across like you're trying to be too cool or you're trying to be too tough. Like, I don't care. I can handle this. And then you're going to get beat up or you're going to get made to look bad. So let that be a lesson. If you only slept 2 hours, forget about sparring. You're like, yo, I only got 2 hours of sleep. Let's do something else. On 2 hours of sleep, you're looking to get beat up, bro. MAW, Al Boogers, salute, brother. Hope all is well. Al Boogers in the building. Agent 17, Conor making a UFC return. He is the USADA testing pool. He's in the USADA testing pool. He just got suspended for a year because he had re-entered last year and ducked the drug test 2 days in a row. The thing about USADA, man, is like, he's in the drug testing pool. He ducked the drug test, apparently. But it's almost like they never cashed nobody, bro. When is the last time USADA popped somebody in boxing? I can't even remember that. They don't cash nobody. When Canelo got popped, that was Vada. When Munguia and everybody else in that stable got popped, that was Vada. When other athletes are getting popped, it's Vada. But I don't see USADA catching nobody. MAW. That's true, Jay. Easy for us to criticize fighters, but geez, they earn it. They earn respect. Earn that money. I'm telling you, bro. You know, from the outside looking in, when, you know, if you're just watching TV, you get to see them climb in the ring, fight, and leave. And you get to criticize, you know, who's better, who's a bum, who's this. But we don't understand the whole story. You know, the sacrifice that somebody... Like, Look at me, for example. I'm somebody that has a different level of appreciation for fighters because I fought. I fought as an amateur and I got that one fight in as a professional. I know what it feels like to get hit with those small gloves where you're wearing no headgear. I know what it is to be in the ring, two people really trying to hurt each other. Because that's another thing. In amateur boxing, you're trying to outscore each other. You're trying to score more points. When you watch amateur boxing and amateur boxers, what you're trained to do is to score because most amateur fights are not going to end up in a knockout. So you got to win on points. So that's what people train to score. When you fight as a professional, it becomes evident in that first round. You are trying to hurt each other. That's different. It's a different feeling when you're no longer wearing that headgear. And now you're really trying to put a hurt on each other. Agent 17, the last person who saw the call was John Jones in 2018. Look at that. Look at that. That's not even a boxer. They caught a guy from another sport. Who's the last boxer they caught that popped dirty through USADA? Them people look like they bought and paid for to me. The brain, Agent 17, lack of sleep is the worst. That's a fact, man. That is a fact. Go get the money. Errol had headaches for a whole year after the butt ass whooping. I know for sure, listen, if I went through what I went through after a 4-rounder, Errol Spence, I guarantee you he was throwing up. Guarantee you he was throwing up. Guarantee you he had the headaches, the body ache. And he dealt with that for longer than I did, of course, obviously. Of course. That's what the fans don't get to see, my peoples. Trust me. I'm going to find some video of myself after my fight, and I'm going to post them. So you guys can see. I lost some of those videos because somebody stole the phone that I had at that time. But I got some of those videos. So you guys could see the condition that I was in after a 4-rounder. And then you try to imagine somebody who fights 10, 12 rounds. And it gives you a good understanding why fighters, after they fight, they disappear for a week or two. You think, oh, they disappear, they just having fun. Nah, my guy, they resting. They healing. They recovering. That's why fighters almost always disappear. After like a 10 and a 12 rounder, fighters almost always disappear. I'm telling you why. Because you take a beating even when you win. Let me tell you something. When I was an amateur boxer, the first time, well, the only time, it only happened once, that I had my nose broken, it was off of a block punch. I got my nose broken. I went like this, and I went down because he caught me with a left to the body. And when I went down, he went up with an uppercut, and the uppercut hit me, but it hit the gloves. Boom! That shit hit me so hard through the gloves that it broke my nose. And I tell you that so you can understand. Block punches hurt too. Some don't. If you block it at the right time and with the right angle and all that. Like, for example, if a fighter punches and they catch you right here, around there, it doesn't really hurt like that. But it can take its toll down the line. If they keep catching you, your arm, you get bruised up and then that's going to hurt too. So, punches hurt, my peoples, when you block them. I've been hit with punches that I blocked. Boom! That I felt it. So when you watching it on TV and you see a fighter block a punch, you're like, oh yeah, he blocked that. He blocked that. He good. Nah, my peoples. Them arm punches, MAW, that's the right wording, accumulation damage. Those punches, when you keep taking them, keep blocking, it's going to get to a point where they hurt. Boom. Ooh. You're going to block it anyway. You're not going to get hit in the chin. But block punches can hurt, my peoples. Don't get it twisted. Alpha Sosa Gang. What's good, OG? Dios te bendiga. Dios te bendiga, hermanito mío. We talking boxing, my peoples. We doing what we do. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is it going to be a real fight? I already told you. If it is going to be a real fight, Tank Davis going to beat him up. Tank Davis going to beat him up. The difference in skills is going to be noticeable. Sean Culver, you always hear people yelling at the fights that the fights are fixed, but they have no idea what I feel like to get hit, just like you're talking about. Like I said, if you're watching from the outside looking in, it's easy to say, well, that's fixed and that's fixed and that's fixed. But you don't see at the end of the fight. Some guy over there pissing blood. Some guy over there throwing up. Some guy over there with headaches for a whole week. You don't see what actually happens. There ain't no fixing into that. I had somebody tell me, all fights are fixed. They're all fixed. Only somebody who has never been involved in boxing in any capacity would say something like that. The brain. I hit people on the hit out of view of the ref. I saw B-Hop do this to Tito. Listen, B-Hop is a fighter who people used to call him dirty all the time because he did little things here and there. Listen, I've seen B-Hop lace the shit out of an opponent. I'm talking about when you said the referee's out of angle. So let's say the referee's here. Look, let me explain to you something. What the referee's trying to do in a fight. Let me school you a little bit, my peoples. The referee is always going to try to be at a side angle. So, check it. If me and my opponent is right there, the referee is going to try to be where you guys are at, right? But if me and my opponent go like this, the referee is going to run and get next to us. So the referee is constantly trying to be here at this angle, on the side angle, so that he can see the punches landing. If the referee's behind me for a split second, if I rub my laces on your eyes, the referee's not going to be able to see it. He could think that I'm body punching. But what I'm really doing is this. Take that. But the referee didn't see it because he was behind me and he was trying to spin to the side. Yo, Bernard Hopkins was a master of doing little funny things when the referee wasn't looking. Whether it was shoving his head on his opponent's face, shoving it like shoving a dome piece, or the gloves, or mushing them, or when they tie up. Yo, Bernard Hopkins used to do a lot of little things, man. The savvy stuff, veteran stuff. As I got older, I realized, yo, that's veteran stuff. It's not dirty, it's veteran. Veteran shit. Hopkins was the master of that. Agent 17, yeah, I spar on the regular. My forward needs a lot of work, though. Just got to keep grinding, just got to keep working. Sean Culver, especially a body shot. They've never felt anything like it. Bro, as an amateur boxer, I only went down one time. And it was from a body shot. The first time that I sparred with a Mexican fighter, and he was a little bit more experienced than me. You know, I was an amateur boxer with 2 fights at the time, and he was an amateur boxer with like 15. He was in open class. So he was nicer than me. But I had a little edge in speed and footwork. You know, he had the traditional Mexican style where he's going to come forward and apply pressure, right? I had a little bit of footwork. I was catching him with the step back, boom, boom, doing a little good step back on him and moving around. But ultimately, he started just closing the gap on me, closing the gap, cutting the ring. And eventually he caught me with that big body shot. Boom! And I took a knee. I had to take a knee. He didn't drop me. I didn't fall. Like, it wasn't a punch that dropped me from the pressure, but it caught me so hard that I had to take a knee. I had to take a knee. And when I got up, my coach was like, hold on. And he let me walk it off for a little bit. And then he let us keep going. But then after that, this guy, he took it easy on me. He took it easy. He didn't really hit me hard after that. I got lucky because with the coach that I was with, I was the least experienced boxer. So the guys that I used to spar with used to put hands on me, but then they would take it easy too. They wouldn't try to abuse. The Brain, I learned a lot from B-Hop, James Toney, and Mike McCullen, the body snatcher. Agent 17. I gotta keep it a buck. Go get the money. I'm too inconsistent in training though. I just spar a lot nowadays. I used to hit my bag and my reflex ball a bit every day, and now I maybe spar once a week. Sean Culver. People have no idea what a little tap to the liver feels like until it's their turn. But some people will never get hit like that. So they'll be watching. They seen Ryan Garcia get hit. Oh, that wasn't that much. That wasn't that hard. When Tank Davis caught him with that shot to the body. So if you never felt it, you just can't understand it. Agent 17, I can't be a boxer, not training. Sean Culver, I've learned to eat the liver shot because so many people have thrown it and landed on me. George Jacket, the Mexican style left hook to the body doesn't work on Floyd or Bud. No. It doesn't work. But you're talking about Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford, some of the greatest fighters of all time. They're gonna work on me and you, bro. Santonio Byers. Top of the morning, bro. Jay Smith. Salute, my guy. Bam. We talking Tank Davis, Jake Paul, my brother. Is it going to be a real fight? Or is this going to be an exhibition and they already know? Well, we already know it's an exhibition, but is it going to be scripted and they already know what they're going to do? Wes Dustin. Who is the Mexican monster who beat up the homie? Let me find out. Benavidez been touching up Jay Smith. Nah, man. It was a Mexican young lion who put the beats on me. Put the beats on me in the amateurs. Sean Culver, once I got hit in the liver, that's when I started digging to the liver on opponents. Because it's nothing you ever experience. That's a different sting, bro. This is just a different sting. Go get the money. Yeah, Agent 17. I train Monday, Wednesdays, and train in the morning on Saturdays. The Brain. My coach says push the jab on the forehead and throw the straight punch in the throat area. And I'm losing. Damn. It's hard to catch somebody in the throat area with that straight punch. But if you catch them, they get hurt bad. They get hurt. Agent 17, yeah, I used to run 2 miles every day. And I'll do that 2-3 times a week at most. But I got to tell you, Agent 17, if you want to see improvement, like drastic improvement, because you're still young, you can do that, you need a trainer. You need a coach who's experienced, who's going to help you with the mechanics, who's going to help you with the footwork. Because if you're going to be sparring, if you're going to be just sparring on your own and training on your own, then that's it. You're at your peak. Right now, you're at your peak. You're not going to keep getting better and better and better. You might get stronger. You might even get a little bit faster. But your mechanics are not going to keep improving. Your reaction time, there's a lot of things that are just going to stay right there. So you have to get yourself a good trainer that's going to work with you at least 3 times a week on your mechanics and on everything else so that you can see how your skills are going to keep improving. If not, you'll stay stuck at one point. JJ's in there has spam and eggs, cheese, coffee, toast. Ooh, enjoy your breakfast, my brother. You always come through with the elite level breakfast. JJ's in there has 23 likes. Let's go. Hit the like button, everyone, as you enter. Wes Dustin, good morning, my brother. Good morning, my peoples. And good morning to everybody tuning in to this brand new episode of Boxing for Breakfast. You guys know what we do. You guys know this is all about boxing. Today's been about Jake Paul, Tank Davis. Is it going to be a real fight? Is it going to be, what is it going to be? Are they going to bamboozle us? Are they going to really give us that real action? My peoples, y'all know it's Boxing for Breakfast. Y'all know I'll be having a cooking show if I need to. I'm in the kitchen because we've been cooking anyways. JJ there. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Don't forget the word of the day, Jay Smith. Oh, no. Oh, no, my brother. In fact, somebody hit me up yesterday and told me that I forgot the word of the day for yesterday. So I got to give you that. Got to give you that, my peoples. Most of the time, I catch it. Yesterday, I had to run off. My son needed his breakfast. And y'all know I put my son number one. My son number one. Boxing is number two, though. Boxing is only my son. Only Ryan Enzo is ahead of boxing in my life. Well, my wife, too. I got to put my wife up there. The wife, too. The wife gets ahead. The brain. I'm with Coach Dent, Paul Williams in Maryland. I used to train with Robert Crawford, Joppy Williams. Oh, shit. Oh, so you with the people that's in it. You have that understanding. You understand a lot of the things that I'm saying. Wes Dustin, I don't want to watch it, but I know I will. Wouldn't pay for it, though. No, look, I'll tell you this. Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, I wouldn't pay a dime. I wouldn't pay a dime. But it's going to be on Netflix. Most of us got Netflix. We're not going to stop ourselves from watching it just because it's not what we wanted. This fight is going to make, we already know it's going to make a lot of money. A lot of people are going to tune in. Most boxing fans will tune in. I hate it when people say, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to shit your goofy ass up. You're going to watch it. We're all going to watch that shit. Not what we wanted. Yes, Tank Davis, even though people don't want to admit it, he ducked Lamont Roach. They get mad at me for saying that, but it's the truth. That's what we wanted to watch. Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach was a very much anticipated matchup. And we should have got it. But we didn't. Which, by the way, Lamont Roach, he got kneecapped. This should have been Lamont Roach's payday. This should have been Lamont Roach's second time on the big stage. The opportunity. And they took that from him. This is my breakfast this morning, my people. 2 boiled eggs. That's it. So, I'm going to enjoy it. George Jacket. No, I mean care-wise. Who's he hunt down? I'm lost, George Jacket. Oh, okay. What's Roach do after he beats Pitbull? I mean, that's a good question. Because I'm wondering, does Lamont Roach want to stay at 140? I think that's where he's going to fight Pitbull. Or is he going to go back down to 135? I think that Lamont Roach chose to fight Pitbull at 140 to try to then get a fight with Tank Davis at that weight class. Because remember, before getting the fight with Jake Paul, Tank said that he's either going to fight Manny Pacquiao or move up to 140. So he's already hinted at moving up to 140. So maybe Lamont Roach is going to be there, hoping that he can get that fight. Lamont Roach can also get a fight with Keyshawn Davis, who's going to be fighting at 140. So I think he's going to have some options. I do expect him to beat Pitbull. He's going to beat him. And he's going to beat him in a better fashion than Tank Davis did. The Brain. I often spar at Charm City at Emmanuel Taylor Gym. I've never been to Upton with Tank, though. I had a conversation with Tank's team during the pandemic. When I trained, I used to train out of Gleason's gym in Brooklyn. So actually, and the people who follow me, they know this already. I met Zab Judah when he was like 9-0 around there, 10-0. And I used to see him every day while I trained in Gleason's gym. I was actually there when he won his first title. Some people wasn't even watching boxing back then, but Zab Judah won his first title on HBO. He actually had signed a contract, a multi-fight contract with HBO, right before he won his first title. Wes does it. If it's a real fight, what does Tank do to win it? Well, I'm going to tell you this, Wes does it. If it's a real fight, Tank is absolutely going to wash Jake Paul. He's going to wash him. I'm going to tell you why. Although Jake Paul is bigger and stronger, I've said it before, the gap in skills between them two is like this. That's the gap in skills. This is right here Jake Paul. And this is right here Tank Davis. That's the gap in skills between those two fighters. That size and strength difference for Jake Paul is not going to be enough for him to overcome those skills Tank Davis got. So he's going to get beat up. He's going to get outboxed. He's going to be made to look easy. If it's a real fight. He's going to get made to look easy. Getting beat up. That's why Wes does it. I told everybody the story about me sparring with Agapito Sanchez. I was an amateur boxer. He was a world caliber type of fighter. And what happened? There wasn't shit I could do in that sparring session, man. This guy took it easy on me and still beat me up. Taking it easy. Not a single hard punch to the head. No black eyes. No broken nose. None of that. Still beat me up. Beat me up to the body. Beat me up. And made me look easy. Why? Because there was too much of a skill gap between myself and him. All the little things that I was doing in the amateur game that I thought I was kind of nice and I thought I was going to do with him, none of that shit worked. He was too fast for me. His reflex was too much. And there was just nothing I could do for 4 rounds. I just couldn't do anything. Jake Paul is going to find himself in the same situation, my peoples. He ain't going to be able to do anything with Tank Davis other than get beat up. The Brain. I was supposed to spar at Zab Judah gym in 97. But I got stabbed in a street fight with a steak knife in the stomach in East Orange, New Jersey over a crack cell. I boxed for East Orange PAL in New Jersey as a kid. You know what? Then if you was going to spar with Zab, I'm guessing that was going to be in Gleason's gym in Brooklyn. And New Jersey used to be bringing some good boxers to Gleason's to spar, man. I remember one time, they brought like 10, I don't know if it was from your gym though, but they brought like 10 guys, amateur boxers from New Jersey to box at Gleason's with 10 guys from Gleason's. And everybody thought that the guys that, all 10 of them from Jersey was going to get cooked. Yo, they actually broke out even. It went 5-5. I'm like, damn, yo, New Jersey got some real boxing, real good boxers. New Jersey's had a real good boxing program for years and years and years. You know, Shakur comes from New Jersey, but if you go back, New Jersey been producing. The Monk. Surely, if Tank can't beat Jake, his boxing career is finished after this. Roach messed him up. I mean, I promise you, Jake Paul is going to be easy work for Tank Davis. A guy with this much skills is not going to beat a guy with that much skill just because he's bigger and stronger. It's not going to go down like that. Tank going to beat him up. Superman. I was at Marcus Garvey. The Braid. Age of 17. Depressing because I survived so much, but my brother was killed. And he was a good dude. Man, rest in peace to your brother, man. A lot of times, the good people go first. Then the guy that's down the street, breaking into everybody's cars, robbing our batteries, stealing all our shit, that motherfucker's gonna be around till he's 90 years old. Jason Williams. I don't think it's going to be a real fight. I bet money Tank has a script to follow. Look, I've said something similar. And the reason I say that is because it's an exhibition fight. And not only is it an exhibition fight, this is not a GTD promotion. If you look at all the promotional stuff going on for this fight, this is an MVP promotion. Tank Davis is the B-side in this thing. He's the one that's agreeing to what Jake Paul offered him. He's the B-side. So that makes me wonder, do they actually have a script? Have they actually already even decided what's going to be the outcome? Oh, now look, we're going to start like this, and then we're going to do that, and at the end, we're going to call it a draw so nobody loses. And now Jake Paul say, oh, I fought to a draw with a world champion. I don't know. The Brain, bro, we've always had good boxers in New Jersey, Newark, and East Orange because most of the New World Nation of Islam brothers was involved with us in boxing when he came home from prison. Trenton Rowway. Bree, Tank will lose a lot of fans if he scammed the people. I mean, look, man, Tank has a very, very loyal fan base. And honestly, I don't think there's anything he could do to lose his fans. Honestly. Because if he had an exhibition, been scamming people. If he had a fight with Lamar Roach, that we know he was gifted that draw. That was such a close fight. We're anticipating the rematch. We're making predictions for the rematch. And he says, nope, no rematch. I'm going to do an exhibition. Bro, do you need more scamming than that? That's it. It's right there. We don't need no more scamming than that. Agent 17, is it harder to become a world champion now compared to the 80s and 90s, Jay Smith? Well, I would say right now it's easier to become a world champion. And I'm going to tell you why. Remember, the further you go back, the less titles there were. So if you go back before the 4-belt era, it's already harder to become a champion because there's less titles to go around. That's number one. But number two, right now it's easier to me at least, it seems easier to become a champion because I think politics allow fighters to get title shots where it's like, okay, let me give you an example. Look at Mario Barrios. Before he got the real title, his first title was a secondary title. The one that Tank Davis beat him, that was a secondary title that he got versus a guy who had like 8 professional fights. So the title's vacant. Nobody has it. They matched Barrios up with a guy with 8 fights, and he won the title. That's easy work for him. Easy work. Look at Tank Davis at 135. How did he get a title? Vacant title versus Wash Gamboa. Boom. And Tank Davis had not fought a single reigning champion since 2025 in the 130, since 2020 in the 135 division. Devin Haney was a world champion there. Lomachenko was a world champion there. Teofimo Lopez was a world champion there. Shakur's a world champion there right now. So I think politics have evolved in a way and popularity for fighters to where titles can be easy to get today that they used to be back then. Because now the politics will help this fighter get a shot for a vacant strap versus that guy, and we know he's going to get an easy win. Agent 17 Breed is not confirmed. Jake and Tank been talking since before the Roach fight. Wait a minute, Agent 17. Wait a minute, Agent 17. Because they was talking before the Roach fight, but they was talking before the Roach fight and after Tank and Roach fought, right after the fight, Jake Paul said, me and him was supposed to fight next. But because of what happened in that fight, we're going to wait till they rematch and then we're going to fight. So Jake Paul told us that they were going to wait for the rematch. Even Tank Davis told us that there was going to be a rematch. But guess what? They watched the tape probably more than once and say, yo, Roach is going to whoop your ass, son. Forget about Roach. Forget about Roach. We don't need that loss. Come on now. The Hydro Grind. Tank is a beast. If he was mentally healthy, he would be pound for pound king and all-time great. I don't know. To me, it looks like his mental has nothing to do with it. And it's all about protecting that O. And you just don't want to admit it. The Hydro Grind. Been protecting that O. Because you see the Hydro Grind, how you cling on to his mental. Like you become a psychologist to defend Tank Davis' honor. So his mental been messed up his whole career that he never fought none of the top dogs. What's your excuse for him never fighting Shakur, T.O., David, none of these guys? His mental been messed up his whole career? Like, that's a horrible excuse. Horrible excuse. They're like, nah, because of his mental and shit. My nigga, Tank Davis ain't fight nobody his whole career. You can't use his mental for the duration. Tank been boxing for how long? The brain. Tank is going after his last major payday before TKO suppressed boxing in favor of UFC and WWE business interests. Nah, that's not going to happen, bro. That's not going to happen. You see, TKO boxing, remember, they're their own league. They're not going to be able to suppress boxing, bro. If anything, I don't know if they're going to survive. I don't know if they're going to make it. This whole new format that they're bringing in, people are automatically assuming this is going to be a huge success and they taking over. Let me tell you otherwise, my guy. I'm 47 years old, right? And at my age, I've seen probably 3 or 4 different competitors of the NFL try to step in on their turf. The XFL, the USFL, I don't know how many FLs they've done trying to compete with the NFL. but they all fell flat on their face. You know why? Because the NFL is already ingrained in American society. The NFL is ingrained in American culture. So Super Bowl Sunday is as American as it gets. You're not gonna come up with your own little football league and think you're gonna dethrone the NFL. What happened with those leagues? Nothing. Nobody in here could name nobody in those leagues. The only person I could name is The Rock, because I know he got involved with buying the XFL. I don't know a single player playing over there. I don't even know if the XFL is still going. I don't know what's going on with that league. And there's millions and millions and millions of dollars behind all of them football leagues. And they couldn't dethrone the NFL, bro. So let me be the first one to tell you, that TKO league is not looking good right now. Just because they got all the money, it doesn't make them a success automatically. Did you see the pay scale that they put out? Like if you're a contender, you make like $10,000 per fight. And if you're a champion, you make $50,000. If you see that, they're not going to be able to sign the best fighters in the world, bro. They're not going to be able to sign the world champions. They're not going to be able to sign none of those guys. TKO is going to be made up of a bunch of journeymen with a bunch of losses and a bunch of young fighters trying to come up and get an opportunity. That's it right there. They don't recognize any other sanctioning body. So guess what? The fighters who want to make history, who want to be like Ali, who want to be the pound for pound greats, they're not going to go to no damn TKO league to fight a bunch of journeymen and newbies coming up. They're going to go to real boxing. TKO is going to be like a B-level boxing league trying to come up. They're not fighting the big names. They're not signing the big stars. Dana White said it himself. They signing a bunch of people with a bunch of losses and some new kids coming up. So, believe it. If they're going to take over, if TKO boxing is going to take over, that shit is not going to happen in our lifetime, bro. We won't get to see it. That league is going to be shit when it comes out. Shit. Because they're going to put together fun fights to watch. They're going to take this guy who's a brawler and this guy who's a brawler, and they're going to put them together, and there's going to be fireworks. But guess what? What is the most popular things for boxing fans to watch? Think about one of the guys that are most popular in boxing. Tank Davis, Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Stevenson, Jaron Bruce Ennis, the Charlos. Like if you think about the names of the most popular fighters, those type of fighters are not going to be there in TKO. So when they fight, you're not going to be watching that TKO shit. Who are you going to want to fight? The champions that are fighting for the green belt or the ones that are fighting for the turkey belt? So it's not like that, bro. People think TKO is going to take over. They not, and they're not going to be able to suppress boxing. They're their own league. They're going to be able to do what they want with their own league. They're not going to be able to suppress boxing, bro, because you can't stop fighters from wanting to be the best, from wanting to grab that green belt, from wanting to become unified champion, undisputed. All that stuff, you're not going to be able to achieve it if you go to TKO. So I'm telling you, what's going to happen with them is that young fighters will sign a contract with TKO League to get some money, to get some exposure, to get some opportunities. And as soon as that contract is up, whether it's 2 years, 4 years, or however many fights they sign for, soon as that contract is up, they're going to be like, yo, TKO, I appreciate you putting me on TV. I need them real belts. I'm out of here. Boom. You're not going to see the best talent that they sign young. They're not going to re-sign because they're going to want to fight the real champions for the real belts. So the notion that TKO is going to take over, they not, bro. I promise you. If they take over, it's not going to be in our lifetime. We won't see it happen. Jay Williams, don't forget, they paid off T. Roach to leave them alone. They had no point. They had no choice. Had to do it. Roach was going to sue them. Roach was going to sue them, and he was going to win that lawsuit because he had a rematch clause with Tank Davis. Agent 17, I'd rather lose multiple times and become undisputed than 50-0 with one belt. And it's not just 50-0 with one belt. It's the belt that you're going to have, that turkey belt. Don't nobody care about that shit. Breed. May F the game up, point blank. Nah, bro, look, I'm telling you, Breed. TKO, they not going to be able to F the game up. In fact, don't be surprised if that league goes belly up within a couple of years and just disappears. Just like all that other NFL, the NFL competitors, those leagues that wanted to compete with the NFL, what happened? Belly up. So this TKO, people, see, that's the thing. People associate a lot of money with success. They're like, yo, Turkey's in it, Dana's in it, it's a lot of money, it's gonna be a lot of success. But guess what? Turkey don't know shit about boxing, bro. Turkey joined boxing the other day. Turkey was a fan of boxing just a couple of years ago. He was just a regular person who enjoyed watching boxing. And because he got a lot of money, he was able to get in it. But Turkey don't know shit about boxing, bro. Dana White don't know shit about boxing. How are you going to compare these guys to actual boxing promoters? Oscar De La Hoya is one of the greatest of all time. Bob Arum done promoted Muhammad Ali and some of the greats of all time. Eddie Hearn, you see what he's doing. He's on fire. One of the hottest promoters today. And you're going to compete with these guys with a TKO league that doesn't even recognize the sanctioning bodies? It's an uphill battle, my peoples. It don't matter how much money they got. It's an uphill battle for that Mickey Mouse belt to become relevant. The Hydro Grand Mickey Mouse belt. The Monk, money talks. But that's what I'm trying to explain to you. The Monk, they put billions of dollars to compete against the NFL. And the money didn't do enough. All those leagues went belly up, bro. Because the NFL is ingrained into American culture. You can't just come up with another football league and think you're gonna take on them. Boxing is the same thing, bro. That WBC belt, that green strap, has been worn by Muhammad Ali, by Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, Julio Cesar Chavez, Tito Trinidad. Bro, the best ever have put on that green belt. So that history that's there for over 100 years, you're going to come up with a turkey belt and think you're going to compete with those people because of money? Not going to happen, bro. Watch. The people who try to compete with the NFL, they thought that money talks. They thought if we inject all this money, we're going to take on the NFL. And the money wasn't enough, bro. The money wasn't enough. Super Bowl Sunday is as American as it gets. Nobody's ever going to replace Super Bowl Sunday for Funny Football League Sunday. It just can't happen. So TKO boxing, that's good. Watch, my brother. Remember I told you this. TKO boxing is going to be a B-level boxing league with B-level fighters and B-level kind of interest. Remember that I told you this. Remember that I told you this. The Monk, you can throw money at something, doesn't mean it will work. And that's the mistake that I see a lot of people making. They're assuming that because Dana White and Turkey is behind this league, this thing is going to explode and it's going to be the best thing ever. Money doesn't always make things work. MSJ Smith, there are already a number of boxing leagues out there that are falling to the wayside. Barely anybody watches them. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you come up with your own boxing league and your own belt, your own title, it's an uphill battle. It doesn't matter how much money you got. Because there's so much history in professional boxing that for you to start a league from zero with your own belt, that shit is almost dead in the water before it even kicks off. Superman, yes. Money leagues ain't nothing. Age of 17. Like the American Team Boxing BS. I barely see anyone good fight. Or barely anyone watching. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you come up with your own boxing league, it's going to be on a small scale. Because you can't compete with this. Like, I'll give you an example. Look at, I can't remember what's the name of that, but it was a boxing league. I can't remember it. And I saw some good fights on there. Like, damn, they putting together some good fights. Or there you go, the Hydro Run, OTX. Putting together some good fights. But you have to understand, what are OTX fighters doing as soon as they get a little name for themselves? What are they doing? They're going to Eddie Hearn. They're going to the other promoter. Or they're doing joint ventures so that these fighters can go fight over there. OTX fighters are not exclusively fighting on OTX. In fact, wasn't Elijah Pierce on OTX? And now he's on Matchroom. So you see, OTX has a good program to build talent, and then they can transition to boxing. And in fact, OTX, if I'm not mistaken, they recognize the sanctioning body, so that's different. They recognize the WBCA. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I don't know if they just got their own title, because I don't follow them like that. But OTX is doing a great job, and we're seeing fighters from OTX go fight over there. So that's the example of what I was trying to tell you with the TKO League. They might be able to make some noise with some up-and-coming guys, but those guys are going to finish out their contract and leave that Turkey League. They're not going to stay there. They're not going to play out their whole career over there. Underrated Will. I used to train Lorenzo when he was 9. Lorenzo Truck. I'll be talking to, I think, Laurice's manager. His manager, I talk to her a lot. Damn, man, Lorenzo Truck, man, he took a couple of losses, man, that I don't even know how he lost. Like, sometimes you see a fighter who is more skilled, but maybe he's facing somebody who's just tough, who just got hard. Like the guys that Lorenzo Truck lost to, they not more skilled than him. But he took a couple of losses. And I tell you what, my brother, I think Lorenzo Truck is one of those fighters, or even though he took a couple of losses, he can become a world champion. He's skilled, he got power, he got the tools and resources to become a world champion. And by the way, salute to Lori. Lori, I'm not sure if she's Lorenzo's manager, but you know, I've seen her with him a few times, and she always, you know, give him a shout out. He fought, by the way, Lorenzo Truck fought recently. See, look, that's Lori Reed. And I know, by the way, Lori, she's in Team Tank. She works with Tank Davis's team. But I know Lorenzo. See, here you go, 5 hours ago. Look at Lorenzo right there. Do you know Lori? Underrated Will, do you know Lori? MAW, TKO is just another platform to showcase boxing. But we'll see how well it stacks up against what we already got and what we already familiar with. We'll see. Well, TKO is not just a platform to showcase case boxing. I want to say this, MAW. TKO, they're their own league, and they're planning on being a competitor. That's their mindset. We're gonna compete with them. We got our own league and our own belt. You're gonna have a tough time saying that you're chasing greatness in a turkey league, chasing a turkey belt. That's why I say it's an uphill battle for them. There's gonna be, or it could be like OTX, where fighters go there, make a name for themselves, and then leave, which is what I said was gonna happen. Young fighters who sign with TKO will make a name for themselves. As soon as that contract is up, they're gonna leave, sign with the Zone or with Golden Boy, Top Rank, Queensberry. They're gonna go with somebody else. They're not gonna stay there for the duration of their career. Underrated Will, he was chasing greatness. And yes, true Jay Smith. Yo, he was better than the guys that beat him. But it happens. That's something that happens in boxing that fans don't take into account. It's kind of like when Maidana beat Broner. If you look at Maidana and Broner's skills for skill, Broner's better than him. Broner's better than Maidana. But Maidana's a guy, disciplined, big heart, rough, tough guy. And then he fought an Adrian Broner who spent the week partying and smashing Paulie Malignaggi's wife, his girlfriend, the day before the fight, the night before the fight. So Adrian Broner was just living crazy out there. But skill for skills, if you look at Broner and Maidana, Broner's the better fighter, the more skilled fighter. And Lorenzo Truck, the guys he lost to, he should have beat them. But that happens sometimes. He didn't have his best night. They were having the night of their life. They beat him. Happens. But I think Lorenzo Truck can still become a world champion. I'm in the bandwagon still. Underrated Will, the one boxer from other is good, but I heard he was on PEDs. From the OTX, Scooby is good, but I heard he was on PEDs. Kirk Scooby. So, look, it's hard for me to say I heard he's on PEDs because I've seen fans saying it. And how reliable is that? Oh my God, nah, that guy's too strong, he's on steroids. That's not really anything for me to take serious. So, he is a very strong guy, very muscular. You know, for him to fight, it's even hard to believe that he could make 135 as big and strong as he is, but it is what it is. Until, I don't want to say that somebody's cheating until there's something to prove that he's cheating, because it's just not fair. Imagine if he's not, and we out here associating his name with steroids, and he just really busted his ass in the gym. Now, if somebody believes that he's on steroids, I understand that because of the frame, his body type. But he could simply be a guy that's working hard in the gym. Robert Tompkins. If you guys Tank gonna beat, if you think Tank gonna beat Jake in a real fight, you crazy. On a real Tank, ain't no killer. This is where Too Big comes in. Robert Tompkins, let me ask you a question. And this is just out of curiosity, right? Have you ever boxed? You ever been in the ring? Now, when I say box, I don't mean like in front of the house or in the backyard with your friends. I'm talking about like box in a ring competing with somebody. Have you ever had the opportunity to compete? MAW, I like your existence, free market style, where fighters not restricted to one organization or company style belt. Both have positive and negative, but free market better. But MAW, TKO Boxing is not going to be free market. It's going to be like UFC. Once you sign with TKO Boxing, you're not going to be able to sign with nobody. You're not going to be able to sell promotional ads in your clothes like you do with boxing and make your own little extra money. Remember, UFC is literally like a slave ship. Fighters can't tell a supermarket, yo, let me get the logo and I'll charge you. Put the logo in my short. No, because you can only wear the shorts that Dana White says you can wear, and you can only wear the logos Dana White says you can wear. You can only wear the gloves Dana White say you can wear. And you cannot fight anywhere. UFC fighters, they can't go to Pride, they can't go to boxing, they can't go anywhere unless Dana White says it's okay. They're tied up. TKO boxers are only going to be in TKO. They're going to be amongst each other. So there's going to be a guy with a bunch of losses fighting another guy with a bunch of losses. Or a guy with a bunch of losses fighting an up-and-comer with 2-3 wins. It's going to be that type of fight. That's what we're really going to be getting out there. So Robert Thomas, let me respond to you, my brother, as what you said about the size. First, I'll say Canelo and Crawford. Remember how many people said there's weight classes for a reason? That didn't really help Canelo, right? Oh, weight class for a reason. Weight class for a reason didn't mean shit come fight night, right? But watch this. Take a look at, and the reason why I asked you if you have boxed, take a look at Tank Davis' skills, a world caliber type of fighter, world champion, and Jake Paul's skills. A guy that got beat by Tommy Fury, who nobody really has any expectations that Jake Paul could really become a world champion and beat an elite level fighter. Tommy Fury beat your ass. And you're going to get in the ring with Tank Davis. So what you're doing, Robert, is saying that size and strength is going to be all Jake Paul needs to beat Tank Davis in a real fight. And I'm here to tell you, you saw Canelo versus Crawford. Now, it's a different circumstances because the size difference is not as much. But let me give you an example, Robert. When you put a big guy with novice level boxing skills versus a little guy with championship level boxing skills, I promise you Tank Davis is going to beat him up. He's going to beat him up, bro. Robert, if you boxed before, you should know the difference in skills. Size is not going to make up for it. Size is not going to be able to make up for the lack of footwork, the lack of speed, the lack of technical, the lack of mechanics, the lack of everything that Jake Paul has. Size and power is not going to make up for it, bro. Tank Davis is going to be able to dance circles around him and beat him up. Jake Paul punches, they're going to see him in slow motion for Tank Davis. That big right hand that he landed on Woodley and knocked him out, I promise you, he got no chance of landing that punch on Tank Davis. The gap in skills is so much that he's not going to land those big shots. Tank Davis is never going to be hurt in this fight. Never even going to be hurt. So, you'll see. You'll see. After the fight, you'll be like, yeah, you're going to find out why they call me Jake Stradamus. Jake Paul doesn't stand a chance. A shred of a chance. Tank Davis is going to be out there boxing him, beating him up, and Jake Paul is going to be looking to land a big shot, which is never going to land. You got it. You see? Agent 17, good point. Yo, Robert, watch the Logan Paul versus Mayweather. Logan got rocked multiple times and even got KO'd, but Floyd held him up. You see? Logan Paul, a lot bigger than Floyd Mayweather. He's about the same size as Jake Paul. Big and strong does not beat skills, my guy. It just doesn't. It just doesn't, bro. Superman, I'll slap white. Smack white battle rap. It's a trap. MAW, I know TKO is more restricted. I like to prefer our existing free market style. More cause fighting, not restricted. But that's what I'm talking about right now. And this is important. Right now, a boxer could be signed with a promotional company and he can say, let me go do a wrestling match and make some money over there in wrestling. Let me go fight an MMA guy and make some money with this guy. Let me put on the logo from my local supermarket, the logo from the local barbershop. They're going to pay me to wear this logo in my fight. Fighters have options. They have options, my people. That TKO league is going to be just like the UFC. You can wear whatever you want. You can go fight wherever you want. You can fight whoever you want. Do what you're told for a little bit of money. North Star, the Golden Palace logo on the fighters was a mess. Robert Thomas, I don't do that because Crawford is different. Brian Walter, I hate this fight, boss man. Carnival show. Jay should go test the top 15 cruiserweights. If he's a real fight, Tank wins. Still skill alone. Come on, Tank is going to beat him up. Tank is going to beat him up. And that's been my knock on Jake Paul. But it's not just a knock, it's that he's such a great troll, man. Jake Paul is a level 10 troll. Because he know that he's a bum. He know that he's a bum. But he'll put his face in front of a camera and tell you, I'm the greatest fighter of all time. I'm the greatest thing that happened in boxing. I could beat Canelo Alvarez. He does that to play with our emotions. And it works. Because we look at him like, what the hell are you talking about? You could become a world champion. Tommy Fury done beat your ass. And he's not even a great boxer. And you talking about a champion. You talking about beating Canelo when you got beat up by Tommy Fury. But he does that to troll and get our attention. But he know he a bum. He know he a bum. He know he never going to beat a world champion. But he's a great businessman. And he's doing what he has to do to get our attention. MAW, all TKO will do is just overcomplicate things. Make things more confusing for the new fans, sadly. I agree with that. People going to see that turkey belt and the turkey champion and be like, wait a minute, but isn't this guy the champion over there with the WBC? Like, what's that guy? There's going to be at some point an undisputed champion in some division, while at the same time, there's a Zuffa belt champion in that same division. Who's going to recognize that Zuffa belt? You see, that's what happened when you don't know shit about boxing. And you never been involved with boxing. And you got money and you want in. You decide, we're going to make our own league. And we're going to make our own rules. Fine, have at it. Let's see how much support you're going to get. Because at first, everybody's going to be thirsty to see what's going on. Let's watch. But you're going to be able to compete when all these fighters want that green belt. They want to become unified. They want to become undisputed. And you got that turkey belt over there with no history behind it. It's an uphill battle, my peoples. Mr. Danny Guns, did you ever box? Yes, sir, my brother. I boxed as an amateur out of New York City. Got one professional fight, but I was already an old man, 44 years old. But yes, I did box. I'm around amateur boxers, professional boxers all the time. Superman, ha ha ha. Jason Williams, my friend, was a cruiserweight and was being beat up by a teenage welterweight of skills alone. My friend was 22 at the time. Yo, people don't understand that skills will beat size. Look, if the skill gap is a lot, skills will beat size every time, bro. Every time. Now, if you put a big skilled guy versus a small skilled guy, there's going to be a problem for the small guy. But if you take a small skilled guy versus a C-level Jake Paul getting beat up every time, bro. Every single time, he getting beat up. If you take Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, Kurt Scooby, who we was just talking about, they all beating Jake Paul up. They all beating him up because of the gap in skills that we've been talking about. Brian Walter, I know at age 17, I'm just saying he can get what he wants as we know. So stay in the division. If you beat a top 15, top 20 guy legit, then we can talk about it. And I'm going to tell you what, that's been my argument, Brian. I've been saying Jake Paul needs to stop trying to fight, celebrities, older people, YouTubers, now somebody that's way smaller than him. He needs to simply go fight somebody who's right around his age, and that's it. Fight a boxer who's right around your age and has around as many fights as you. I would be happy with just that, bro. Look, right now, I don't know about heart. I have to check it out. Paul. Look at this. Right now, Jake Paul's box rec is 12-1. 12 wins, 1 loss. Fight a guy who has a similar record to yours, who's close to your age, who's close to your size. That's a legitimate boxing match to me. In 13 professional fights, Jake Paul has one legitimate boxing match. That was with Tommy Fury, and he lost. Versus professional boxers, he's 1-0. He's 0-1 with 0 wins. Well, he beat the cokehead, crackhead version of Julio Cesar Chavez. There's people who, and he beat Grandpa Mike Tyson. Come on, my peoples. By the way, right before Mike Tyson, he fought Michael Perry, who was 0-1 as a professional boxer. 0-1. When Jake Paul had like 10 fights. So, he beat Nate Diaz, who never boxed professionally, who was making his pro debut at the time. So, all I'm asking Jake Paul, bro, you think maybe you could fight somebody your age who's a boxer, who has, 10, 11 fights just like you? Can you do that? Instead of fighting guys that's too small, guys that's too old, guys that's YouTuber, you fighting everybody except boxers, bro. Now you're doing an exhibition show with a smaller guy that's not going to go in your box rack. Come on, Jake Paul, he a businessman, and he's trolling everybody into selling his fights. Crazy work, my peoples, what Jake Paul's doing. Brian Walker, I would love to see Badu bust that ass up. Jake Paul would never get in there with him, though. JJ's in the house. People might see money, but not turkey belt. That's the thing. They're going to want to go there to get some money, especially fighters who are not getting fights, fighters who are younger, who's looking for an opportunity. You're going to be able to get a check. Cool story. But are you going to want to stick around in that league? Are you going to want to be part of a league who's not going to be able to get you fights for the real belts, and with the big names, with the real fighters that are making the real money? Because don't forget, they put out the pay scale for TKO Boxing, and it did not look good. It didn't look good, my people. That pay scale, it was kind of off. That pay scale was iffy, to say the least, my peoples. JJ has 32 likes. My brother, you see it, man. I've been going with you, my peoples, over 2 hours, bro. Not even 20 likes. Golly, what I gotta do, bro? Shit. I don't even know what I gotta do for people to hit that like button. Agent 17, y'all have a good day. Salute, my brother. Bam. LT Phipps, Jake won't do that. Jake is gonna get beat up. If the fight is gonna be real, Jake is gonna get beat up, my people. I'm trying to tell you. If it is. I don't know if it's an exhibition. At this point, maybe Tank Davis already got the script. And he know how many punches he gonna throw, how many punches Jake Paul gonna throw, and all of that stuff. I don't know if that's the case. Northside, I got my money on Tank stopping Paul before the 7th. And Norman stopping Dev. Ooh. Norman, let me tell you something. When it comes to Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney, when they first announced the fight, I said Brian Norman Jr. was going to knock him out. But I seen Devin Haney in training. I'm hearing what Zab Judah saying about, what they working on and everything, and how he's looking in training. And honestly, right now, I'm right in the middle. I'm not able to make a prediction yet. I'm going to make a prediction, but I'm not ready, man. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. JJ's in the house. Have a good day, everyone. Do your best for yourself and your family. Health first, then chase wealth. Ooh. Wise words dropping in. Bam. Young Guns. If you say it's real, yes, Tank will dust them. If it's a real fight, Tank is going to beat him up. I promise you. I promise you that. Robert Thompson. You're right. But I think Tank not into boxing no more if it rap. So this is what I got to say. Look. Even though it looks like Tank not into boxing, his heart is not in it, that's what people are saying. He's a world caliber fighter, and he's preparing to get in the ring with Jake Paul. With the ego, with the attitude, with the mindset, Tank Davis is not going to step in there and allow himself to be embarrassed. He's not going to step in there and be the joke of boxing, where people going to be laughing about how he got beat up. He not that guy. You got to understand, Tank is a street dude for real. And he's going to go in, if they're fighting for real, because I don't know if they got a script and this is fake. But if they're fighting for real, Tank is going in there to beat him up with that mindset. I promise you that. LT Phipps, I'm looking forward to seeing Abdullah Mason on the card. That was very smart. They're holding an exhibition, so they surrounded it by a bunch of real fights. That was a good move because that's part of what's going to make us watch. For the people who say, I don't want to watch no damn exhibition. Well, the exhibition is the main event, but guess what? It's going to be a bunch of real good fights before that. Young Guns, I've seen footage of Tank sparring actual middleweights. And he looks strong as hell. You could tell that he's big. LP Phipps, Tank look much bigger now. He put on weight. JJ's in the house. He might be Duck of the boxing. Tank could be that too. He'll duck. He duck Lamont Roach. I know people don't want to admit it, don't want to accept it. Tank Davis duck Lamont Roach. And I don't know if we ever going to see that fight. I don't even know if we're going to see Tank fighting any of the best. Shakur, Tio, Dev. I don't know if Ryan is ever going to face any of them. LT Phipps, Mason is fighting on the Haney card. That's going to be a good fight, man. Abdullah Mason finally getting his title shot. And I believe Sam Noakes, is it Sam Noakes or Sam Noki? I don't know how to pronounce that name by reading it. And I hate mispronouncing last names, my people. But I know that I've seen some videos of him, and he's really good. But Abdullah Mason, he a special fighter. This is his time. His turn is up, and he's gonna do what he does. Young Guns, Jay Smith, do you think Devin ducked Loma rematch? Honestly, it's hard for me to say that he ducked the rematch. You know what? It's easy to say that he ducked the rematch because of the fight, the way the fight played out. Some people saw Lomachenko winning it. But I don't know, man. I don't know if that was a good fight for Devin to take. Because I know that even though he beat Lomachenko and then after that, he did win. Actually, didn't he move up right after beating Lomachenko? Did he move up right after that? Because I think by the time he faced Loma, he was already struggling with making 135. Bro, I don't know. I don't know if Lomachenko was going to be willing to chase him and move up to 140 or move up to, now he's going to fight at 147. If you remember, Devin Haney looked huge in front of Lomachenko. Looked like he was like 2 divisions bigger than him. So if he was gonna struggle with making weight, nah, don't give him the rematch. Cause then you could lose. And we don't want to hear no excuses about you was weight trained. So I think it was the right thing for him to not fight Lomachenko. And then he went to 140 to fight Regis. So I wouldn't consider it a duck. I'm okay with it. JJ Sanders tanked, ducked Roach, Tio, and Shakur. That's a fact. And he also ducked Lomachenko for years. Wanted to fight him at the tail end of his career when he got 1 foot out the door. You see how people try to say Crawford fought a Wash and a retired Porter? And they didn't want to give him credit for the win? Yo, Lomachenko for years was trying to fight Tank. Floyd Mayweather's own video saying, oh, he's in a hurry because he's old. We're not in a hurry. We could take our time. And right before Lomachenko retired, they try to make the fight with him. So yeah, they try to age him out. Salute to Lomachenko for not taking the bait. Young Guns, yes, he fought Regis. That's what I'm saying. He moved up to 140. So it wouldn't have been a wise thing to do to weight drain himself and fight a rematch with Lomachenko, which he could have lost. So I think that was a very smart, savvy business move to move out the division before you take a loss because you're struggling making weight. My peoples, I'm about to end this show, but before I do that, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Young Guns, JJ Sendejas, LT Phipps, Robert Tompkins. Who else was in the building, man? I really appreciate, you guys deciding. It's an honor and a privilege that you guys decide to take up the time in your morning to hang out with me, to enjoy boxing with me, to whether we trash talking, whether we putting together our opinions, but it's honestly and honest. It's honestly a privilege for me to have you guys hanging out with me from Mondays through Fridays, enjoying boxing, going back and forth. Agent 17 was in the building. Brian Walter, JJ Zendejas, Christopher, Robert Thompson. I say your name like 50 times already. Brian Walter. Everybody who tuned in. Jason Williams was up in the building too. My peoples, y'all already see it, man. This is Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. I'm Jay Smith. This is for you, man. This is what we do out here. Tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to do what we do, my peoples. We're going to do boxing. Make sure you tune in. And by the way, before I even get out of here, I got to give you guys the Jay Stradamus words of the day. Yesterday, I missed it. And somebody keeping me honest, people keeping me honest, like, yo, Jay, what happened? You didn't give us the words of the day, my people. What's going on? So this morning, you definitely getting the Jay Stradamus words of the day. But let me stand up. Let me stand up, man. I can't give you these jewels sitting down. My peoples, y'all ready for the word of the day? Y'all ready for the Jay Stradamus words of the day? You don't like this one. You don't like this one. So, I'll start it off like this. If you take a fish from a little bowl in water, you take that fish, let's say it's a goldfish, and you put him in a big fish tank, he's going to swim like he was swimming in that bowl because he a fish in water. So you take the fish from a small tank to a bowl, you're going to see him swimming fast. You're going to see him swimming all over the place. He's going to be smart. You put that fish in that tank and you put a frog to try to eat him, the frog ain't going to catch him. The fish is going to be like this, too fast for the frog. But if you take that same fish and you put him on the floor that frog is just gonna walk up right up to him and eat him. Easy work. So what I'm trying to show you is that the fish is great in its own environment. But if you take him out of his environment, he's getting cooked easily. Now I'll make the connection for you guys that I want you to understand. Every single person watching this live, every single person walking this earth has something that they're so good at that they're better than almost everybody around them at that one thing. The problem is that a lot of people don't even know what they're really, really, really good at. A lot of people don't know, my people. A lot of people don't understand that there's something that you could be really good at, but you never did it. You never tried it. So your talent just hasn't been exposed. Don't go through your whole life without finding out what your talent actually is. Don't do that. That's why schools, college, university, all that stuff, they suck. The education system on the world scale sucks. I mean, there's a lot of good things, but I mean the approach. The approach sucks. And I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to show you why based on boxing. When I was in the gym, in Gleason's gym, there was these kids that they was twins. Like 10 years old. And they brought these twins to the gym to box, to learn how to box. The first day that they took those kids to the gym, day number one, one of them two was like this. One of the two twins, the first day, that natural instinct. And the other twin, a month later, he was still. One of them had that natural physical talent to do those things, to have that mechanic just naturally. While the other one, no matter how much you try to do this and fix him, he always end up like that. Always end up looking like he don't know what he's doing. Why? Because one of them had that talent already. The other one didn't. But guess what? It turns out when they start talking, the one that was goofy with the hands, he was the smart one. He was the one, a little kid, talking with these words that even grown-ups don't use. So what's the point of the connection? What's the connection that I'm making for you guys with the fish and the twins? Is that all you need is the right environment so that you can excel, so that you can do more, so that you can go further. Some people, their gift is the strength. That's their gift. They're stronger than everybody around them. So they're able to do things that people can't do. And some people, their gift is up here. You see me? My peoples, I'm not a big dude. I'm 5'5". I ain't a big dude, bro. But I got it right here. You see? If we're gonna have a competition about who's gonna lift the biggest weight, Most of y'all gonna whoop my ass. I'm getting cooked. But if we're gonna have a competition about debating is my strength. You're gonna have a hard time debating me on any subject. Any subject. You want to debate about war, you want to debate about education, you want to debate about health, you want to debate boxing, anything, you're going to have a hard time with me. Because this is my strength. So people need to figure out, and this is my words of the day for you, my peoples. Figure out what's your strength. What are you really good at? What is something that you're so good that those around you can't see you on that? If you figure what that is and you decide to do that for a living, not only are you going to be successful, not only are you going to kick everybody's ass around you, but you are going to be recognized as him. If you all you need to do, my peoples, is figure out what it is, your talent. Everybody has a special talent. You just don't know what it is. I figured out my special talent when I was almost 40 years old. I didn't know some of the things that I could do until I was almost 40. That's another mistake men make. We think that we need to be rich and millionaires by the time we're 25. So if I'm 30 and I'm not rich, I'm a loser. If I'm 40 and I'm not rich, I'm a loser because I didn't do it. Meanwhile, the guy from Kentucky Fried Chicken became a millionaire when he was like 65 years old. So remember that, my peoples. Find out. If you don't know yet, if you know, that's great. But if you don't know what you're great at, I promise you, there's something that you're great at. You just don't know it. If you think that you're not great at anything, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. I guarantee you there's something. Maybe you can swim better than everybody around you. Maybe I've seen people, man, walk somewhere, see somebody cooking and say, I can cook that shit too, and make the same shit. How the hell I'll grab a cookbook and this shit still don't come out right? I'm following the whole recipe step by step and it still tastes like styrofoam cups. And then this person could come out of nowhere, look at somebody else cooking. Oh, wait a minute, I could do that too. And cook it exactly the same way. Because they have that God-given talent to cook. God didn't make me a cook. So when I cook, it's going to taste like shit. Figure out what your talent is, my peoples. And do that. You figure out your talent and you do that, life is going to be much more happier for you. And you're going to be successful because you're that good at whatever it is that you're good at. So that's my words of the day for you, my peoples. You, me, everybody has a special talent. You just need to figure it out and exploit it. There you have it, my peoples. I'm Jay Smith. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm glad you guys tuned in today and got this action. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all know what it is. Hit that like button, man, and subscribe before you even get out of here after I gave you these jewels. Salute to everybody, y'all. Bam, George Jacket. One love, my peoples.